About time we begun, guys. Hello, and welcome back to another stream. This one's a bit special, a bit different. We're going to actually be doing patch notes analysis. I've never really done this before, but I always found myself in a stage where, like, well, I kind of said, I was like, why don't I do this? It makes sense, because I so often end up just kind of like analyzing it by myself, you know? And everyone knows masturbation is fun, but going on a camera and sharing that masturbation with everyone else is better, right? So anyway, let's get down to it. So they released the patch notes today. We'll stop the banging music for the timing. They released the patch notes today. The patch itself doesn't drop until November the 1st. Apparently it is live on the test server, which is what I'm downloading right now. I haven't had a reason to have the test server on my computer for like a year and a half or so. But of course, we have been introduced to two new characters. I think it was Pangolier and what was it? And Dark Willow. Let's start with Pangolier. Pangolier is the one that's introduced actually a new mechanic, which is I think it's vector drawn targeting. So he's mainly plays as a melee. He can kind of versatile. It seems like he can be a carry and also kind of a anti-carry just because the way he can pierce through. But for a start, you got Swashbuckle, which if you'd like to load. You don't want to load? Okay, so Swashbuckle basically, dashes to a new position in Assault. So the way it is you can actually target somewhere and then you can line up in a direction. And that's kind of the vector targeting thing. It's, interesting enough, it's a mechanic that hasn't made its way into Dota so far, but has existed in quite a few different MOBAs. I believe Smite has it. I'm pretty certain League of Legends has it. Heroes of New Earth definitely had it, and so does Heroes of Storm. So the idea is just going to be... basically you hop to a direction, then you spike off damage in that direction. Then you've got Shield Crash, which is just like a big AoE slam in the air. That the more enemies you hit, the more damage reduction from incoming people you get for a short time. Then you've got the Heart Piercer, which is kind of interesting one I want to test around with a bit, which is the definitely slides his blade past defenses to give his attacks a chance to slow the target and fully negate enemy armor after a short delay. And I believe that's a target you keep clicking on them, sort of thing, from what I was seeing. And then, of course, oh wow, the final one, Rolling Thunder. The final one actually loads. Rolling Thunder is a lot like, what was his name? There's a hero in Heroes Storm that does exactly this. It's basically Brewmaster. And he has this whole rolling barrel thing. It does that similar thing, but also you can do the Shield Crash. Just to, like, you can hop up, essentially. So while you're in that rolling form, you can basically skip past terrain. It's another hero that's going to have nice ways to just move around when he probably shouldn't. And then the other one that I found quite interesting as well, Dark Willow. Dark Willow I actually found more intriguing than I expected. I always expected Pangolier to be quite interesting, but from the quick brief look I had at Dark Willow, you've got this whole, this thicket of kind of trees and brambles she puts up that causes damage and roots people. And I believe they stay there and they are actually physical, you have to walk around them. Then you got Shadow Realm, which is, she basically goes into her own phase. It's a bit like Ghost Shroud, but in a different manner that you, I mean, I need to check it. It says it becomes untargetable, but I think you still take magic damage and such. But the longer you're in that, the more your next magic attack does. I can see some potentially dangerous combos here. I think the one thing maybe people have already taken into mind is actually that probably works with Dagon. So this could be a relevant Dagon carrier, guys. Oh, who am I kidding? Every hero is a relevant Dagon carrier. Then Cursed Crown. Cursed Crown was the... Which one was this? Yeah, Bestow Curse, which stuns them. This is kind of interesting, though, because you can set this up in this stun delays. It's kind of like Techie's Stasis Mine, but in a way sort of better, because if you have set up like maybe you have Vacuum, or maybe you've got Black Hole and you tick this towards the end, you're going to get so much control in the middle of the fight. And then finally it was Terrorize, which is basically Raw. It's big fat Raw. Looks like it could be pretty damn useful. So this... I just like to... one of the things I want to actually test straight away with this is what has a higher what has a higher Q. Will this push people out of duel? Will this overwrite a Raw from Lone Druid? Just little interactions to think about there. I did like this, actually. This is one thing I did like, is the Emblems of Dueling Fates, the Immortal Bundle. 5 items for $10, and they're not bad items, actually. Custom abilities on the two new heroes. You get yourself a new Courier and Observer. For $10, that's not too bad. I think it's going to work out about £8 over here if they do reasonable conversion. And Penguin read the wrong notes. Good job, Penguino. You had one job. I wouldn't have job. So this is the other thing that I was really happy about. I was really happy to see. Anyone who's looking on Discord and follows me on Discord, you would see my brief little highlights of some things that are really going to improve this game, and this is one of them. Ranked seasons are the best thing you can do. Honest to God, like, I do not like the current MMR system. I feel like if you don't dedicate your life, you can't ever get noticed. I'm not saying I'm going to be the next pro player, but maybe this will encourage me to take my game seriously, or not. I mean, I got that Dagon build now to do on Willow. The point is, the old system really negated bringing fresh blood into the scene. In fact, don't get me wrong, you got new players coming in, but not... I don't think you got as much of a mix in there, because you had this gate, right? Someone's up at 8, 9k, and it doesn't mean you can't get nursed down at 5k or something, but it's less likely to happen now, because people look immediately to the highest ranking people to go, these are the people that are the next pros. And the thing is, there might be players that play just as well, that are just as mechanically gifted, but they don't have as many hours in commit today. I mean, hell, this might mean that we see people coming out who have full-time jobs and just being able to convert to a professional career. Plus, the fact is, you know, I know people like to make the logic of if you're good enough, statistics show you will rise up the rankings, but this gives a more reasonable gapper instead of having to be in that awkward scenario where you might limbo for a while, because there are exceptions to the rule, and this isn't going to always skip all those exceptions, but it's going to give a hard reset every 6 months, and 6 months is a good amount of time. Otherwise, at this rate, we're going to end up to like 14,000 MMR being the top one, and then any new players coming in are never going to get noticed. Well, it will take them a few years. And then this was the guide system. I didn't actually fully read this. Hero guides can now be viewed in the Learn tab. Okay, so you can actually basically read up on the guides before you're in game. That's probably good. So when you're a new player, you're coming in and you're like, I like the idea of Mirana. Now you've actually got a chance to look at Mirana and maybe get a bit of insight into the hero, and then maybe you can double think about whether you actually want to even do that in the first place. And also, I like the future planning showing, because you don't get that in lobby at the moment. And what that does, that gives you kind of a concept of what your hero is going to do in the next few levels, something that I don't think is there right now. Because when you pick a guide in game, it tells you what to level each level, but it doesn't actually tell you what you're going to max first. It doesn't tell you anything like that. And that's the difference. Like here, I can see this anti-mage build. Debatable whether you want to go that way, but it's maxing out. It's more or less maxing out the mana break. Now, in my mind, as an anti-mage, I wouldn't expect the mana break maxed out. I expect the blink maxed out for the escape factor. So I might play a bit more aggressively, knowing that I'm going into this with more and more mana break. And this was the big one. This is actually the big one I think will drive new players into the community, which is turbo mode. So the turbo mode, as it works, is the same rules as all pick, but it's basically going to be shorter because you're getting more gold and XP, and they've made the towers weaker and reduced spawn time. Thank God. Now, this is going to be great for people that are drunk, because maybe I don't want to sit on the sideline for ages because I'm too drunk to actually click on a creep straight. More to the point, this is actually going to allow players that are new to the game to not be stuck on a hero they hate for over half an hour all the time, and then just get burned out after 2-3 games. This also gives a bit more justification than having the current system they have for new players and not needing to change it, because the games won't last as long. So you'll be able to go into a game with a hero like, I'm not sure about this, but I'll give it a try because maybe this game's 20 minutes. You finish the game like, okay, I didn't like that hero, but now I'm educated, right? I can move on. Whereas, in current system, with the normal all pick, it's not uncommon in pub games. I mean, I know the average for like pro games probably 30-40 minutes. But in pub games, especially lately, I found my games going 50-60 minutes, and it's just, for new players, like they're confused enough, right? They don't need to have the added punishment of never being able to get out of that rut of that first and second game, those first few that they know are going to go badly, but they can't do anything about, because they get some guy who's dandy in his own head, so he never gives up. Ability draft, this is being long overdue, an ability draft update, which should fix a bunch of broken ability and interactions at the moment. And also, they've changed a few things, which is kind of nice, which is the hotkey order, which is great because, when you're used to having hook on Q and it goes on E, it does matter. And then what was that? And chat with your teammates. Yeah, that's nice. That's actually a nice little thing. I don't really care too much about this overall. I think it was just nice that they've done this because it was something that definitely needed fixing. But in reality, looking at it, I'm not likely to play ability draft much more now just because they made this difference. But at least, was the part we've also added support for 15 previously unusable heroes. There you go. So it's all up today. If you guys enjoyed ability draft, you can go back and enjoy it now without having to worry about how broken it is and just turn to Dota Imbo, which is even more broken, but at least you can leave within 10 minutes or 20 minutes, well, at any point in the game, if things aren't going the way you like and not getting abandoned. I think one of the big problems here is this doesn't have like any surrender button. I think they should introduce a surrender button in the ability draft, just because if a match gets a bit ridiculous, I don't want to be there for half an hour just being raped in my fountain. Aw. I hope they get these custom effects. That'd be great, wouldn't it? Just actually have Puck breathe and fire like that would be glorious. Ancient Apparition Remodel. Looks like we're actually going to get some fabulous sets from him, hopefully now. Because mainly at the moment, I believe he just has the Immortal helmet. And it's cool. It's a cool helmet, but it'd be nice to get a bit more funky gear in there. Maybe give him some Dastardly Claws. Maybe give him some particle effects on those goddamn claws. Hey, yo. The ping wheel difference is also handy. Typically, at the moment, people get pinged. They get pinged, and a lot of time they go. It's like I've seen it every time. I hope myself. I'm like, what the hell do you want from me? This is kind of a nice little thing. Just the option to choose what you're gonna do. I think Heroes Storm's had this since the release. Loads of the MOBAs now have this. And when you haven't got a mic and you're in the gist of it, you haven't got time to type out what you mean. So being able to quickly just orientate whether you're talking about attack or retreat. And also, I believe this, I need to check, but it might work on towers as well, which is great. Because as it currently stands, when you click on a tower, the initial thought is that you're just simply saying, let's defend this. And then, of course, just to change the Juggernaut Arcana. Giving it, is it just, did it even, I thought it had a voice. We're granted a new voice pack for the hero that you can equip to replace the, oh, there you go, yep. I'm pretty sure he has some voice lines already. Maybe it's just one or two custom voice lines. But now on the gameplay stuff, they're getting past the fluff into the important things that matter. So straight away, the drafting change is an interesting one to do. Typically, for those who don't know, the way it always worked before is that you can see that the order shown here. It's actually A, B, B, A, and then I believe it's B. No, A. Wait, this is the same, isn't it? Oh, no. They've slightly changed it around at the start and at the end. I don't think that's going to affect things too much when it comes to drafting. What I will say... Oh, well, sorry, no, that's all pick drafting. Yeah, all pick drafting is... Now I'm following what they're saying. It's basically just the same or essentially similar to how you get in Captain's Draft, minus the bans. Now, each day, 10 heroes are selected around automatically as bonus heroes for the day. Bonus heroes provide you with a free mango. Mangoes, guys. I mean, how can you not be happy about mangoes? It's an interesting change, I'm not gonna lie, because on top of that, you no longer get randoms either. You get an extra Iron Branch in addition to the mango, and it comes from those select 10 heroes. I think this is kind of because people really got bitchy about this whole element of just getting an extra 200 gold just from hitting random, and if you're a good player. And the thing is, also, they removed the repicking, because that's that whole factor of you random, you don't get something you want, just re-random. And, you know, if you don't get it good, you do. And this kind of like narrows it down a bit. So if someone sees Meepo and Invoker in the pool, they're probably less likely to go and random that day, which is nice. Right, so in the laning, this was the big thing. This is a big change that's actually going to change things around a lot. At the moment, the current meta, the mid lane is the most valuable lane by far. It's the reason that you probably you kind of end up in a scenario where you probably expect the carry to be doing things on the map sooner than the mid, just because there's more gold to be gained in that mid lane. So getting rid of the additional creep, I think that was the right move to make, because it just put too much emphasis on one lane and completely struck out and ruined the balance between all the different lanes. This was also another good one, which is the creeps now meet close to each team's respective safe lanes. It should make it harder for the offlaners to get a good block, which is what you expect. The offlane should be the harder lane. You shouldn't be able to equally, very simply level out with the safe lane. The denying XP change is also good. It's going to punish you more if you don't get your hands on the XP, on the last hits. If they get denied, instead of getting 70%, you go get 25%. It's a huge difference. But it is balanced out as we'll go further through this. And it's interestingly enough, it works out in a way that actually getting to at least level 2 should be a lot simpler, as we'll go through in a moment. I'll explain that to a bit more. The denied XP gained by the denier reduced from 30% to 25% is logical as well, because if you're reducing the amount of XP the denied person's going to get, you don't want the denier to get so much snowball effect that if you shut the person down for a few minutes in lane, they can't recover. Neutrals killing lane creeps now actually gives you XP. That's a nice change as well, just because if you're getting pulled, like if support is actually pulling the wave and pulling that gold away from you, they should actually have to stay there and actively deny, just actually actively deny you out instead of just walking away and you not being able to get those last hits and missing out on the XP as a result. You're getting punished for the fact that they're not there, which is weird. Total XP increased from 210 to 240. This once again is going to support into the quick acceleration levels at the very start, which is where we'll go down to about here. Melee creep bounty increased by 4, range creep bounty increased by 12. That's not too bad. Those increases of gold will just help to accelerate past the early game a bit quicker. Whether you think this is a good or bad, it's a mixed feeling, because there are certain heroes that will be hurt by a quicker laning phase. Ones that come to mind are ones like Crystal Maiden, but they've tried with talents, and I believe there's been a lot of changes to talents as well. We'll get onto those. The changes that they're looping around here is actually trying to take these heroes that we typically thought was just early game heroes and actually make them relevant in the mid or in the late. So I'm actually fine with this. I'm absolutely fine with accelerating game. I was having a long discussion with one of my friends, and she was quite like focused on this whole element of turbo mode and how it's copying Heroes of Storm, and that's not the case. What it is for a start, this actually, like, part of this is to do with just generalizing your audience, in honest truth. That's what turbo mode is going to definitely be about. And more to the point, accelerating the rate at which the game plays out is kind of a common factor practically all developers take nowadays, because people are so obsessed and so busy in life, they don't have that much time to sit down. It's not like when you played games 10, 15 years ago and you can sit down on a strategy game and spend 2 hours at a time, right? People like fast-paced, high-octane, quick-finished games, right? That's why things like Call of Duty sell so well, right? It's not because they're great and the best thing in the world. It's because they can be taken in small, tiny chunks. It's actually one of the big things Heroes of Storm has going for it. I think Heroes of Storm actually has been seeing a bit of a resurgence because of it. Obviously not in scale of Dota. But at the same time, Dota's numbers died down, and it's debatable whether that's going to be because of the stagnation of the patch, or if that's because people are continuing to adopt these games that move quicker. And the first neutral camp this is going to be a big one. The 30 seconds to 1 minute. That's actually going to come into this factor of what I was going to get onto about getting leveled up at the start. Now, because you've increased it to start spawning at 1 minute instead of 30 seconds, you cripple dick anyone that tries to do the typical, I'm going to be the jungler for the first 10 minutes. And that slows them down and actually punishes them for being that greedy on the map. And then also on top of this, it's going to it's a lot harder to shut out the offlane from getting level 2 and then actually being able to do something. Currently, in the current meta, it's not uncommon for there to be very aggressive supports. And what those supports can do is they can just shut down one individual. So they'll typically target the offlane if they can. If they're important, that they get level 2. The perfect example of this is Darkseer. Darkseer is incredibly vulnerable at level 1. Now, I've seen it time and time again. That's actually the reason Darkseer doesn't get picked as much at the moment, is you just shut him down, you keep him away from the creeps, he can't get level 2 quick enough, and he falls behind by at least 2 levels in comparison to the safe laner, or whatever person he's laned against. And this Starvation completely screws him over, because without level 2 he doesn't have Surge, he doesn't have an escape, so he can't approach the creep waves and Iron Shell him up. And even if he Iron Shells from a distance, if he's not there near the creeps, he's not actively getting the XP, which means he can't level up. It basically is just getting stabbed in the face, even when you're not stabbed in the face. What these differences do is it means it'll be harder for them to pull the creeps away from you, so you should be able to more easily get level 2. And also, the XP range increase and the decrease in XP required to level up from 1 to 2 should support that movement to getting towards a quick level 2. Even if they do shut you down after that, you can at least then do something which is going to enable a lot of heroes, in my opinion. There's a lot of offlaners that have fallen off because of this. I think, to an extent, Centaur, amongst other reasons, has fallen off partly due to this, because you either take Return and you just get harassed down because they don't get tangos. You take Stomp, but you can't reach anyone, you can't do anything. Or you take Double Edge, and what the hell is the point in that? At least if you get level 2 and you have something like the Double Edge and Return, you can maybe then go to the jungle and level up a bit quicker. Now, the base hero XP difference is an interesting one. So for level 1 to 5 reduced from 100 blah blah blah. Basically, they're just putting it down. So you get extra XP for hero kills from the assist formula. But if you're just very passively involved in that kill, say you're just in the area, you won't get good XP. I think this makes sense, because at the moment, all that meant is that roaming support was the meta, right? Roaming support. But you didn't even actually have to actively touch that kill to level up. So this is actually putting a bit more impact and forcing supports that do want to roam. It's still viable, but you have to actively be involved in the gank. You can't just shot at the last moment and get the XP, or you can't, as the carry, just sit there and watch your supports kill someone and get the XP. And of course, the tier 1 tower HP being increased is just to slow down any early push momentum from the increase in levels. So laning phase, like I say, level up quicker. Shouldn't end the laning phase too much quicker, though. It depends on the heroes, because the towers will be a little bit harder to kill. I do like and am also very eerie about this change here. Town Portal Scrolls. So now you will start with a Town Portal Scroll, but it will be immediately on cooldown at the start of the game. Now, this is an interesting change. I like it because it means you can actually respond to early ganks as supports. But I also don't like it because what this has done is it's at the same time it's crippled more high level plays, well, not plays, but typical things you do, which is warding at the start of the game. Now, if you've watched most games, you'll see it's pretty typical for a support to likely TP out towards the tower immediately while smoked up and go and ward. Now you can't do that. You have to wait. You have to walk out. And that difference in time, I guess it kind of evens up between both teams arriving and limits the distance you can travel into the enemy jungle without being spotted. But it's a weird change. I think it's good and bad. It's going to really impact the first minute of the game, is what you'll notice. The shrines as well, remove shrines from the base. I think this is more to do with just how ridiculously long people were holding when their opponents got the high ground. It's that factor, if you're starting to lose a fight and your punishment is if you don't die, you go back to base and you heal. The fact you have 3 shrines actively available, just like I've seen it before. Someone just go pinging one to the other. And the other thing that this was doing, this was slowing down quick finishes, which was crippling the presence of heroes that were effective in the early mid game, but completely just crashed in the late game because they couldn't get through the base that quickly because the defenders were just quick. Like, they go in, they get a kill maybe, and we're almost already dead. Then they just go heal up, they've got mana again, they come back in immediately, get you off the high ground, and by the time you're ready to go do this to them again, they've once again got access to another shrine because they're balanced in between 3. And Glyph now causes your creeps to be invulnerable for the Glyph duration. This is a very interesting change. I'm not going to lie. I like what they're thinking here, because this is actually going to be pretty intriguing in base races. So if you're being, like, this is kind of punishing people that actually start to lose their base already. Because if you've got creeps on your high ground in multiple lanes, and you're making your final desperate push to try and win, and your opponent glyphs to stop you, they're actually buffing their damage they're doing to your buildings in your base in the meantime. And also, this gives you use to glyph beyond just the defensive factor. And the interesting area I think you'll see it's used in is the early mid game, when you're pushing down those early towers. Because, of course, the renew time, you don't mind spamming out the glyph as much. And that could be the difference between getting a tower 2-3 minutes early than you should if you use it correctly. It's going to kind of like bounce out this back and forth trading more effectively. Instead of one team just easily getting into a lane, as soon as they force the glyph from that lane, the other lane's going to push against them. So you've got that tower pressure coming elsewhere, which then kind of pushes a team that's got an early snowball lead away from just continuing down one lane towards the tier 3s. Now the creeps, the extra siege creep, I do like that as well. That's going to accelerate the base destruction when we get into the later points of the game. Understandably so. I mean, honestly, it kind of puts you in a scenario at the moment where if you don't have a hero that can break base nicely when you get to the late game, it's going to take you so long to do so that you risk losing the game each time you try and go up to destroy something. So the extra siege creeps will help. And then what was it? Fixed extra lane creeps spawning a minute too late. Yeah, just small things. Lane creeps upgrade is now capped at mega creeps. Previously, if the game went over 4 hours, it was possible for creeps to be stronger than mega. Yeah, I never experienced this because I never went over 4. In fact, I didn't even know about that one. I don't know if anyone else here had encountered that. But yeah, it probably makes sense to make that change. Armor mechanics. This one was interesting. So the armor formula has been adjusted, as you can see. It's gone down. And the whole point of this is if you look at the current meta, there's a big focus on magic heroes. Loads of people loads of lineups tend to focus heavily on magic damage. And this change, like everyone, even Ember Spirit, even heroes that have typically been right-click have been more focused on magic. And part of this is because of just this spamming of armor in the current kind of like phase of the game and the gaining of armor that heroes get. By decreasing it ever so slightly, this is actually going to enable a lot more right-click focused builds because they're going to be effective in the mid-game instead of having to wait till the late game to really come online. And then the increases to the tower armor will just slow down these early pushes with physical attacks, but it won't factor in, it won't change how a magic damage line might push, like Chikira and Bugna, those sort of things. Then we got Roshan, base armor, just loads of changes to armor overall, actually. Shrines going up on armor as well. I kind of agree with that. I think shrines should be a big investment to drop. I mean, if it's big enough that you've got into the high ground, you then need to actually take a little bit of time and think about when you want to take out shrine. Also means you can't just do safe style shrine destruction. What I mean by that is you can't easily just send up creeps. That's actually the other thing in general when you look at all these things. It's kind of an indirect nerf to heroes like Nature's Prophet, because now the creeps are going to hit less effectively. Now the base structures removed the tier 4 HP regen. I'm kind of okay with that. I found the tier 4 HP regen a bit of an odd introduction when they did actually put that in. I do like the fact they've increased the ancient HP regen, so if you're at the clutch final moment, you maybe can hold and go for a final push. Obviously, it's not going to change too much if your base is overran and you're just being completely spammed and cucked. You're still going to be spammed as cucked. And then we've got the map changes. Map changes. This is what we're after. Rework mid lane for Dire. Both sides can now walk along the edge. This is where the tier 1s are, near the river. So we'll be going in to look at that, by the way, because I've been downloading the patch as I'm being harassed by someone. You can now actually walk past that tower, which this is a big deal. Because as it currently stands, Dire kind of had this unfair advantage on gank protection, just naturally because of the position of the tower. It was actually hard to get in unless you took a hero like Pudge and take someone from the right side of their tower when they were on Dire. Now you can actually walk past, you can actually get involved, you can actually cut them off. I like this change. I think this is needed. I do find the middle lane ramps being narrow interesting as well. It should make kind of imperative ganks more, what's the word I'm looking for? More threatening. So if you're in the river's now actually a bigger risk because getting out of the ramp is going to be harder to dodge out incoming AoE stuns, for example. And then, of course, the shrines. Yeah, moves closer to this primary jungle area. We'll check that out. Swapped off-lane shrines and bounty runes. That I did find quite peculiar. Not necessarily for bad reasons. I think it kind of made sense to an extent. With the shrines, if you screw up, you should have to go the extra distance to pay for your punishment, right? And also, I think it sort of balances out the mid lanes a bit better because now the distance to the shrines is a bit more even between the two. It's still a bit off. It still favors, I'm going to say, Radiant somewhat. Well, not really too much. And with the tower change as well, I think they're going to be even overall. But no, I do like that change. And the adjusted off-lane terrain to be wider. We'll check that one out as well. Move primary jungle bounty runes closer to safe lane camp area. I don't know about that one. I think the position of the primary jungle bounty runes was fine. It says it's going to be close to the river ramps though, so I'm not too fast. That means you got to go longer distance if you want to greedily get them as the core. I think you've still got this big issue between the Dire safe lane and the Radiant safe lane, unless that's being addressed, which we might find it is. Safe lane hard camp adjust, remove one of the ramps. I think we won't look too much in these ones because a lot of these we will see when we actually go and have a look. And yeah, Jughead, this isn't Destiny because they announced the patch notes for Dirt 2, so I'm going to analyze them now. But yeah, we'll go over these when we're in game. We'll actually have a look more at them in game because like these are more awkward to explain without the visuals, right? This was big though. I read this, I was like, what in the hell? So third Roshan is now going to actually drop a single-use refresher orb. That is absolutely huge. In fact, that could be the difference. Like, it feels like they're trying to expedite the end game scenario. And I kind of understand it to an extent. If you're on your third Rosh, you kind of expect something big to be happening. I think it would be more interesting if it was third Roshan kill for your team. So actually, if your team is getting the Roshes regularly, then there's a reward. And also that gives a bigger emphasis on getting that last hit on Rosh and just getting a bit of extra gold. But this could be that way. This could be this way because third Roshan kill. I'm assuming that's the third one in the game entirely. And it doesn't say if that's the only one or if it's third and then after or every third. So another thing we need to check. Hero respawn time is being readjusted. I like that as well. Just basically the early game is less punishing on the sidelining time. The punishment is the enemy is getting a lot of gold and getting some XP. It shouldn't be that you're being then starved of more XP for longer. Yeah, Alex, I know the refresher can refresh. Right, neutral aggro. Now, this was actually a really peculiar change, actually. And I made a very, very valid point about this that I'll go over just after I narrate what we've got here. Is neutrals now sleep at night. Now, this is a weird one. They have 0 aggro range while sleeping. Now, theoretically, I don't know how this interacts if you attack them. I think I need to check this myself because it sounds like it could be you attack them, they don't move, which could mean that anyone could potentially jungle at nighttime. Alternatively, it means that they just won't react unless you do attack them directly. The interesting thing about neutral sleeping at night, though, is if it is that they do not move, regardless of anything, what this has done, and this is the big thing I said, this has basically made Kunkka the best support for stacking. Kunkka can do the torrent. At least last time I done it about 2 weeks ago. It still worked. So unless they're actually changing that as well, torrent should be able to lift the creeps up outside the spawn box and allow you to stack the camp. Now, if that is the case, if that is how this new aggro works, Kunkka's going to be your go-to if you want to keep stacking. Then we've got the remove special neutral pull aggro exceptions for heroes. Yeah, these are just small quirky tricks that work for certain people. One of them was Pudge Kid Hook, a creep, and that would aggro the camp to come out to you. And that was used to, like that won't change how Pudge does that. Pudge typically used that to pull creeps from a lane into the jungle. And that shouldn't change it. Although theoretically it might. I think it will. Like, the fact they mentioned Pudge, it has to. Yeah. Then you got neutral lane. Creep aggro is now based on which neutral spawn they're in. Able for the traditional whole camps. Okay, that's a peculiar one. Not too much of a big deal, that one. Captain's mode now has an extra ban. That's understandable. That's understandable. I mean, there are... How to put this? At the moment, the current patch, all we've learned is that you have to choose between banning against a certain team or banning the most generic things that could come up on any team. Necrophos, Earthshaker, Nightstalker, Venomancer. So actually, 2 extra bans actually may allow you to just ban out against direct heroes. New items look awesome. We'll get to them, Penguin. Don't you worry. Don't worry, Penguino. I did like this change. Actually, illusions, now they do 8% less damage and just get killed. This is actually kind of good. This means heroes like PO can actually have a relevance because not only can they split push now, they can actually take a Roche. And this also means that actually Chaos Knight's going to be ridiculously good at taking Roche as well. Just because with minus 8% damage, it doesn't matter. He's still going to do a crap ton of damage with those illusions. And the health and mana regen is absolutely huge. Mana regen, not really sure where they need that for, but the health regen should be really, really helpful. In fact, the mana regen, if anything, might actually screw illusions over. Just because if they're tanky enough and anti-mage is burning at them or anyone with diffusal, you can just continue to melt away at them for extra damage. And then just the Roshan Slam just being changed a little bit. Yeah. That's not too much of a deal. It's basically 70 plus extra damage per minute. This is just basically to stop teams that stack up on Roche altogether. And it kind of buffs, slightly buffs in the mid-game heroes that can take Roche on their own, like Ursa. In terms of the threat factor of them going and doing it on their own versus the enemy team coming and do it together. Fountain damage being increased and the mana and HP regen going to percentage. I like that change as well. It just felt right, if you ask me. It is going to slow down the initial, like, very, very early levels, but if you have to go back to base to regen instead of bringing out a Clarity and Sango, that's kind of the offset that you're giving yourself. The damage increase is definitely needed just to stop any sort of fountain dive. We're getting to that point now. I'm glad we're not at the point where we're playing like League of Legends where someone just instantly gets evaporated, because that would be worse. And the net worth change is actually really good as well. This is just to what's the word I'm calling it? It's comeback mechanic. It's softer comeback mechanic. That's what it is. Don't think of it as bad combat mechanic. This isn't going to be Spectre wins one team fight and suddenly goes from the poorest person to the richest. This is just saying if you're actually got a huge lead and you die, you need to be punished a little bit more for it because that huge lead shouldn't necessarily lead to your death. And if the heroes do do more with less items, at the same time you should have equated for that and played accordingly. The Hex no longer being dispelled means that Lotus Orb shouldn't be as ridiculous as it is currently, debuffing practically everything when you cast it on someone. I do kind of like this because Lotus Orb is meant to be used as a preventative item, not just a safeguarding item. Sorry, not safeguarding. A saving item, shall we say. It's meant to be a case of you put it on when you anticipate something happening, not when you have had something happen. And then you just got UIs to do with muting and channeling. I do like this change. I see so many people screw up and accidentally cancel the channeling. Looking at you, Greta. And then, of course, the unique attack modifiers. We have moved beyond the unique attack modifiers. But we haven't moved beyond the unique attack modifiers. Because if you look down here, Mana Break is no longer a unique attack modifier, but it does not stack with Diffusal Blade. So there is still limitations. Just like there will still be the limitation that you can't have, a Basher on Void. Jojo says, how big is this update? Have a look at the bar and then appreciate. No, Greta, no. And then, of course, guys, cliffing is back. Cliffing is back. Oh, the cliffs. We're going to do things that are going to make people want to jump off a cliff. It's going to be so depressing. Pudge can put people on cliffs now. Rubik can do it. Magnus, everyone can do it again. We're back. And this made total sense because as it currently stands, people can still put people on cliffs. It's just you have to be finicky about it. And that was annoying. It was like, I think for Rubik with the lift, I think you have to target beyond the cliff and it'll put them on the cliff. I was just like, this is a dumb. Like, you didn't stop cliffing. You just made it buggy. So bring that back made total sense. And you know what actually the other cool thing is actually as we go through this, you're going to notice a lot of things that seem like backsteps. And now, guys, you can't ever see Ice Frog doesn't revert something done. Although, in fairness, he's waited at least one patch to do so. So maybe he's still keeping his word. Or his method, shall we say. Fixed magic damage sources from attacks not being blocked by barrier. Yeah. I wasn't actually aware of many of those, but yeah, that's just a bug that needed fixes. And improved stat count readability on buff icons. Yep, sure. Heroes with turn rates of 0.4 improved to 0.5. It's actually affected a lot of heroes, you can see. And there are a few here that are going to be really affected by it, which is Mirana. She's definitely going to benefit from it. Puck as well. Because, well, Mirana actually being able to turn quickly and hit the arrows, leap in the right direction is pretty important. And Puck, of course, the turning rate is going to just help his elusiveness, basically. On top of that, we'll look through this. Venomancer will, of course, benefit because that allows you to quickly turn around Gale and run away. But I think we're going to see some heavy changes to Venom when we look down in the logs anyway. And overall, just... Well, Enchantress actually being there, that's going to allow her to kite better. That's kind of... I'm surprised Enchantress is in there. Enchantress does fine for the most. She doesn't get picked much is the problem. But it's not inherently to do with that. I don't think the turn rate's going to fix her in that regard. But I think this is just across the board, we want to make heroes with low turn rates better. You think this celebration? You think this patch deserves a celebration? Good news. Woo! I don't know. Maybe. You can now see enemy mana regen values. Once again, just little fixes. Most of these just little fixes that weren't there but should have been there. The regen rune's an interesting one though, because that means regen rune's actually going to be good in the late game, and more. What's the word I'm looking for? Balanced across the board. Because the old regen rune was not exactly balanced across the board. If a Storm Spirit found a regen rune, he had an erection bigger than Berlusconi's. It was the best thing you could get, because look at that. You're doing 7 MP regen each second. Whoop-de-doo. I'm just going to zip around, zip around, zip around, zip around, zip around, zip around, and basically use up the entire regeneration rune duration. Now, it's actually quite hard to do that, or will be harder at least, because you'll be just restoring percentage-based MP. And then, of course, we had a bunch of change to neutrals. I looked at these, and in general, I kind of approved these, because Chen is a worthless piece of trash at the moment. A lot of these do actually help Chen find a bit more relevance. I think he's still going to be in trouble unless we find some change down below, just because the nature of the hero is he kind of gets cocked by how quickly the game moves along. Item changes. Some of these were really astonishing to me, actually, to be honest with you. The biggest one is Courier changes. At first, I'm not gonna lie, I read the first line, I was like, great, now no one's gonna support now, because they put the Courier up to 200 gold from 100. But the catch is now it automatically upgrades at 3 minutes. This kind of feels right. I mean, honestly, it's the pub games that this doesn't happen in pro games. They're on it straight away, like a carb on it. Now, the interesting changes here are the flying speed being increased, the movement speed on the ground Courier being increased as well. This is just to stop out easy snipes, because at the moment it's too easy, really, for practically any support to snipe out Courier when it's ground. The really big change, though, the really shocking change, was actually the Courier no longer refilling bottles. Now, this is a change I didn't necessarily agree with, if I'm turning honest with you. I feel like bottle has been crippled, and now it's being just killed completely. It's kind of not as bad as it would be, because they made the change of removing the extra creep in the mid lane. Now, what I mean by this is basically, as it stands, rarely do you see a mid get a bottle. There are a handful of mids that will get bottles because they just benefit from so much spam. Heroes like Death Prophet, Puck might do it as well. And these are also basically heroes that will move around quickly to the runes. The thing you got to keep in mind, though, is with the bot rune being so far away from the mid lane, you're gambling now on whether you get yourself a rune. You can head for the bounties, but they're far away. I mean, they're going to be like, you're going to, like, the off lane one, like, it'd be if the safe lane one was switched to the shrine, then yes, you know, you wouldn't be too bad on getting your hands on another bounty rune. That's not the case. So what we've got in this sort of scenario is bottle is really not going to be viable on more than a handful of heroes now, especially in the mid lane. Like, don't get me wrong, there will be ones that will just stay as they are, and that's ones like Ember Spirit and Kunkka, just because they can go back to Fountain and get that bottle refill themselves. But I feel like the Courier no longer refilling the bottle was a nerf that was not needed. I think bottle has been on the downhill slide. It's not as relevant anymore. It has a handful of heroes that definitely going to pick it, and then it's picked up by supports. So that's how I feel about that one. And the Courier no longer being purchased once is just a logical decision at this stage. Stop those Courier feeders in the noob games for you guys. No, you must give me mid or I build Couriers for next 20 minutes. No. There was a point where having a secondary courier was reasonable and needed, and that was back before we had a backpack. But since the end of the backpack, I'm absolutely fine with this change. The reason it wouldn't have been fine if they didn't have the backpack is certain heroes had certain pocket strats, sort of scenarios that worked for them. So a perfect example is Naga Siren. I remember back in the carry days with the split push Naga, you get over 6 slots, and you'd have a courier following you around the trees with a refresher orb in. So that made sense, that scenario. But now that you've got your backpack, you shouldn't need it. Arguably, you could stay still. You know, it's the difference between waiting instantly and waiting 6 seconds to get your item. Shops, remove the following items from the side shop. They got rid of the quarterstaff. The Orb of Venom, I'm not really surprised. Orb of Venom has just turned into a huge harass item. And it's still quite effective from the move slow perspective on any melee. Blades of Attack is a weird one. I don't think they should have removed that. I don't think Phase Boots was necessarily a really overbuilt item. I think Phase Boots was a reasonably well built item, but and no stretch of imagination didn't need to be removed from the side shop. Now it just makes it more awkward to get your hands on the Phase Boots and ends up with a bunch of courier hogging. Which, keep in mind, the other side effects you always got to remember now is you're going to have more reasons to take that courier away from your mid, and you're going to feel worse about it because now the courier can't have a speed boost, so it won't be able to get back and forth necessarily quicker at times. Because, of course, that was the other thing. Actually, oh, no, I skipped over that, didn't I? The flying courier now has a courier shield, which I'm assuming blocks 2 attacks, is the idea. Oh, sorry, blocks attacks for 2 seconds. That's my assumption, anyway, on that one. But yeah, they removed the bottle as well. I don't know why they removed the bottle. The bottle was practically never bought from the side shop just because it had 1 charge. It wasn't worth it. The Ring of Health is a big deal, especially for anti-mage players and Weaver players. And the Ring of Regen is a big deal for practically any current meta offlane I can think of, just because the extra time to get a Soul Ring out, especially with Sage Mask as well, is going to be painful, really painful. They added the following items though, the Ring of Protection. That was an interesting one, considering Ring of Protection isn't actually that relevant of an item as it was back when it actually was required for Tranks. So, purely changes. They did add the following items to the secret shops, so they added the Ring of Health, the Void Stone, the bottle. But you get a fully charged bottle now, which is kind of cool. But once again, I said, like the case with bottles is very unlikely to pick it up often. Supports, yep, supports. You better start crying me a river and basically close your purses because turns out wards are going to cost you more now. On top of that, the XP bounty is increased from 25 to 100. That's interesting. I mean, you already get 100 gold, so the XP, I'm not sure if it's needed, but I mean, in fairness, the investment of time, and especially in the early game, for supports to go and de-ward, I get where they're coming from. It gives a bigger emphasis on keeping vision and restricting vision. Tango costs rescaled because they've got 5 uses now, so that's another one that's weird. We're just going to get more regularly these scenarios where people pull tangos because you still got the use of the Iron Branch. I think that was such a dominant thing. I'm surprised they made this change. Maybe it helps supports out somewhat because now they'll still have more tangos for themselves when they pass across to the mid laner. And Smoke of Deceit increase in cost is quite interesting as well. Smoke of Deceit is, of course, a really powerful item. But I think, my opinion is, you've got the scan, right? You've got access to the scan to see things incoming when you wouldn't necessarily be able to see them on ward. I don't think you need the increase in Smoke of Deceit costs. Smoke of Deceit was always going to be an item that picked up a lot. And I don't think it's going to really change the pick rate a lot. It just seems like a kind of unnecessary change. Hey, Zodiac. And then a few other things. Gauntlet cost reduced from 150 to 135. Just all the basic things you use to build like a Null Talisman or a Bracer. They basically had the cost decrease, which will affect everything else in few movement as well. That means drums should be cheaper as well, which is kind of crazy actually. Wraith Band recipe reduced from 170 to 165 as well. Yeah, all the recipes is going down. I mean, this is going to just see more early game items being pumped out for stats. And actually be more viable and support to get if they're struggling a little bit. I do like this because typically if you're struggling to support to stay alive, to do anything, to have mana, etc., buying a casual Null Talisman or a casual Bracer is a typical thing to do. This is just actually making it more viable for support to go do that. They do no longer give +3 attack damage. They now give an additional +1 to primary attribute. I'm okay with that. I think I'm okay with that, really. Like I said, it gives more relevance to the stat gain over just a damage gain. Veil no longer provides 6 damage. Veil intelligence bonus increased from 12 to 14. So overall your damage is going to be slightly less increased by a Veil, but at the same time I don't think a Veil is going to be any less viable to get, especially with the decreases to the cost of the Null Talismans anyway. Dagon no longer providing 9 damage. Just small changes all around here. Dagon, intelligence increased. A lot of this, as you're going to notice, is based around intelligence and focused actually at the way that Magic spammy indie heroes are played at the moment. But I don't think it's going to drastically change too much. The laning phase will be slightly affected by the decreased damage that you're getting from these early game items. It just means that you won't be able to assert an increased dominant lead over another midder as easily. And Drum's Endurance, bonus increased strength to strength, but no longer provides damage. But like I said, Drum's Endurance will be cheaper now because of the changes here anyway. Rod of Atos no longer give damage. Refresher Orb no longer gives damage. Nothing too big otherwise here. I do like that though. The Refresher Orb mana regen increase from 250 to 300%. That's a big chunk of extra. 50% is nothing to turn your nose up at. Especially when heroes like Tidehunter that will struggle to have enough mana after they've blasted out the initial. But now we get to the item reworks. We get some a little bit more interesting. We've still got the heroes to go after this. I think I'm doing good pace though. I mean, it's almost been an hour and we're... Oh god, we're getting up like Purge as well. Jesus. Okay, let's keep going. Save Lens has been reworked. They've increased the cast range you're going to get from having that item. On top of that, you're getting a lot more mana. But you aren't going to get the spell lamp anymore. You do get an increased mana regen. So overall, this is actually a buff to Aether Lens for the heroes that it was logically built for, which are the ones that would benefit from an increased mana pool and an increased range on abilities. The old one was really great for heroes that just constantly spewed out magic damage. So maybe something like Leshrac. Don't get me wrong, Leshrac's a bad example because Leshrac isn't exactly a powerhouse pick right now, right? He's not exactly huge on the ratings. But I do like this change. The extra 200 mana added there is really going to make this a viable item for supports, especially that don't get much mana gain. So something like Earthshake is actually going to fare a lot better now. I mean, bad example for Aether Lens, right? But, you know, heroes with small mana pools. Maybe that Chaos Knight roaming is a bit more relevant now. That'll get stopped. But Pudge is an example. Pudge is a perfect example, actually. Especially with the bottle changes. I like this. Battle Fury now requires a Demon Edge instead of a Claymore plus Broadsword. So it's 400 cheaper. Anti-Mage's just got a boner. While actually it's more of a semi because they remembered the change to the Ring of Health. It is an interesting change to do this, though. And the Demon Edge, of course, means you will have to go to that side, the secret shop to get it. But to be honest, actually, if you actually think about this for a second, the entire Battle Fury is now built in the secret shop. Which actually is an indirect nerf to Anti-Mage. Because it's going to take you a little bit longer to get your hands on the entire thing, and the components are going to require a bit of chase as well. So what we might actually see now is people that want to run Anti-Mage might require an aggressive try or dual lane just to do that. Because otherwise, the only secret shop near you is going to be the opponent's one, and that's always risky to go to, especially if you're blinking into it. Attack damage has been reduced slightly, cleave distance has been increased, and cleave end radius increased as well. Overall, I'm going to say it's an interesting change to Battle Fury. Like I said already, I think it's just targeted at making life a bit harder for these safe lane carries that stay to farm a long time. And I think the emphasis here is that we're forcing this scenario where you want a bit more engagement from all players, maybe. And this at least forces the safe laner to move out of his safe nest that's been created by his supports and maybe venture somewhere else, or at least wait for the courier to bring him all that stuff. But the increased amount of items that have been removed from the side shop and the increased usage like to come with the courier, it means it will be harder for the carry to just easily grab that Battle Fury. Not to mention, do you really want to be flying a Battle Fury all the way across the map to you? I wouldn't want to be doing that. Boots of Speed have had the speed reduced. Not so speedy. And very odd. I don't think that was needed. I kind of see where it was coming from because Windlace. Windlace was the main reason. Not to mention the fact you go Tranquils and have a Windlace as well anyway. Boots of Travel building prioritization range increased from 325 to 700. This is basically just giving builders priority over anything else you click on. Just because sometimes it's this whole logic of if you click near a tower and you meant to go for the tower, but you accidentally click next to a creep, you be on the creep instead. It's just a quality of life change, really. Bloodstone changes have come, though. Now requires Perseverance instead of Soul Ring plus Recipe. Interesting change again. Soul Ring, once again, useless item, I think, if I'm not mistaken there. I really need to have the game open now to check some of these things. That sounds like that's making Soul Ring less relevant, though. I mean, Soul Ring was solely relevant because people would build Bloodstone with it. And that's what makes it such a good item for the offlaner to jump into. I kind of understand why they made the changes, because offlaners were practically always buying this item because it was so damn effective. In the offlane, there's a big emphasis on you to spam out spells to be able to get last hits and interrupt your opponent. But wow. The initial charge change from 12 to 14 will help certain snowbally heroes just keep on top of things, and no longer heals in an area around your hero upon death. I'm not actually that surprised by this. It felt like a mishap that usually you didn't even imagine would occur when that... Like, I can't think of a scenario where Storm goes, my team's almost dead, I'm going to zip in and suicide so they heal up. So, overall, I'm fine with that change. Give me a sec, guys. Just going to switch to the fan on. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. But yeah, no, that change overall, Bloodstone is peculiar. It's definitely peculiar. Perseverance build up. I feel like we've just taken steps back now. I think Soul Ring was the way to go. You just need to find a way to make it less viable, and you've already done that by the fact that you can't actually get the components from the side shop anymore, which means that the offlaners can't actually rush that items quickly. Right, Butterfly, flight duration reduced from 4 to 2 seconds. But Flutter no longer disables evasion. I like that. I actually like that. It's a late game phase boot now. And I'm kind of cool with that. I'm absolutely fine with that. I don't think there's much more to say about that. It's going to make it spammed. There's not going to be any kind of offset where you go, oh, I'm going to lose my evasion. Do I want to do this? You're just going to do it and you go. And I'm kind of fine with that. I wouldn't say Butterfly is the most built item in the late game anyway. So not too bad at all. Was that Bloodstone Charge now give HP Ridge? No, don't, Aaron, don't. Okay, Desolator armor reduction reduced from -7 to -6. No surprise. With the armor changes, like I said already, they're kind of pushing towards this slower push in the enemy base, but more impactful when you reach it. And this just kind of supports it. Like I said already, like when it comes to the way they're kind of balancing right-click oriented heroes, they're making them better in the current patch at taking out heroes, making them slightly less effective at taking out towers. So this just kind of enforces that whole notion. Diffusal has had an item rework. No longer dispels, no longer has charge limits, and no longer upgradable. Cooldown increased to 15 seconds. Yes! I feel good. Dispelling was ridiculous. It just completely crippled Donkey Dicked on certain heroes that it was unfair to do so. Most namely, Omni Knight. We like to think Omni Knight is OP, but actually for how greedy of a choice of support it is, it needs something. And the thing is, Diffusal Blade for the build-up and the stat gains and everything else was a very easy item to just counter out Omni Knight. The changes, though, I mean, no longer has a charge limit. You don't get an upgraded version, which, in my opinion, is a good idea because, frankly, that extra gain was unfair. And it has a cooldown of 15 seconds, which means if you can't kill someone after the initial diffuse, you can't just keep spamming it. Okay, no matter how much gold they're worth, if you can't kill them, come back with a better plan next time. So yes, I approve of this. It also means if you commit to a target, don't expect to then just be able to snowball to the next target and the next target as you Congo line down the mid lane going, everybody's gonna die now. It's not gonna happen. So screw diffusal builders. I don't think this is necessarily going to just shut out diffusals being built. They're still great items. The slow is going to be really handy still. The mana burn is still really nice. And the fact that it doesn't run out of charge now makes it relevant into the late game. Now, moving on from that though. Moving on from my happy little party moment there. That finally the game is playable, I know, right? Drums active. Bonus attack speed increased from 25 to 35. That's fine. Drums, honestly... Drums bonus, like activatable, was typically used not for the attack speed. It was used actually more for the movement speed. So the attack speed gives it a bit more relevance to just click someone down quicker than using it to run away or initiate running in. Evo Blade having a projectile speed increase, no surprise there. It's not a big one, but just a slight one. Should make it a little bit harder to dodge, but not absurd like it used to be, where it's practically just on click. Guardian no longer requires an Orb of Venom. I mean, it's not a big change. It's not really a big change at all. It just means Orb of Venom is discardable if you're going to pick it up. There's no real other reason to have it. We're just basically going towards the old Orb of Venom where it just existed for no reason. And I'm fine with that because that's a cheaper one. But on top of Soul Ring, this is kind of setting this awkward precedent that we're just seeing the items move from progression towards individual cutoffs again. And I don't like that direction. I prefer to feel like I can at least build into something. And now Orb of Venom doesn't build into anything. I believe Soul Ring is back to building into nothing either. It's a weird and slippery slope. Anyway, next up, Force Staff. Increase on cooldown from 20 to 23 seconds. No surprise, considering supports love to spam them so much. And the amount of times I'd see in late game scenarios just 3 or 4 Force Staffs going off to save one person was insane. As beautiful as it was, it just makes it a bit of a big investment to do so. It's not a huge crippling change to the cooldown, but it's enough to make a small dent in escapes if it becomes like an elongated chase. Glimmer Cape can no longer be disassembled. Just makes sense. It really does. I mean, as it currently stood, you can basically just use Glimmer Cape as a makeshift Shadow Blade until you can afford a Shadow Blade. If you were a carry or anyone that built a had a hooded and had actually then picked up a, what's the name of the opponent? Blanked it now. Basically, it just stops you having that in between. You're either committed to getting a Glimmer Cape or getting a Shadow Blade. It's a nice change. Was it Shadow? Amulet. Shadow Amulet. There we go. I blanked, but I recovered. A Hurricane Pike now requires a Wraith Band instead of a 500 gold recipe. I love that. That actually gives some use to Wraith Band as an existing item. At the same time, I kind of don't like that because I don't think it should just be Wraith Band. I think any one of the stat items should work, a bit like you would build treads with, well, that's not the same, obviously, because, you know, using belts and such. But similar to that concept, that you can just use any of the component. But in fairness, at the same time, typically Hurricane Bikes are built by Agi heroes. Not always, but typically. Iron Talon has been removed from the game. Okay, I'm actually quite surprised by that. I guess Ice Frog has been really going to work on the jungle. I mean, we've seen the changes to hibernation period, because apparently the jungle is now full of squirrels in winter. And now on top of that, we no longer get the really awkward Iron Talon to scratch our testicles with. This means Legion Jungle is a thing of the past. No, it's you had me for a second there. Legion's going to still be in the jungle, so is Bloodseeker. All right, Javelin now provides 25% accuracy. Cost reduced from 1500 to 1100. No longer grants 10 damage. And actually proc now deals 100 magical damage. That's pretty intriguing, because considering it didn't do magic damage before. That's a really interesting little change. I don't think it's going to change too much. People don't just typically build Javelins to build Javelins. They build Javelins to build into something else. Like, you know, an MKB. Did he say Monkey King bar? Yeah, but stolen from Monkey King. So I'm fine with that. Okay, so unless you're going for like a This is Sparta one and I'm going to man the walls of ancient Greece, you're not really going to have 6 Javelins in your inventory for that extra magic damage. You might be that crazy. I hate you more if you were, but let's move on. Basher, cost increase on the recipe. Kind of expected. No longer grants plus 10 damage. Bashers cannot be evaded. Yes, that's right, guys. We're seeing it. RNG can be RNG. And this is a living example. And the damage proc has been increased from 85 to 100. Which kind of makes sense considering you've increased the recipe by 400. Basher is, of course, a great item on any melee who has some attack speed. And I'm not really too shocked by this change. It's a decent item. It's usually picked up. And this is meant to curb or slow down the building into rushing an Abyssal, which can be popular on certain heroes like Phantom Assassin, who can benefit from the time she gets from Abyssal to basically melt someone. And speaking of Abyssal, hello Abyssal. No longer grants plus 10 damage. Poor little PAs will be very upset. Bashers cannot be evaded. It's just basically the same stuff from the Basher. Monkey King bar is new. It's different, guys. Okay, what we got here. So now, instead of having a Demon Edge to build it, I might even got this on right now. So instead of having a Demon Edge to build it, you actually can require Hyperstone. It's much cheaper now, though. Look at that, 1,000 gold less. Difference is you are getting that extra attack damage now, which is a bit sucky. And you're not getting the True Strike. Wait, what? 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 Okay, so you're not getting True Strike anymore, guys. You basically get plus 75% accuracy, plus 60 pure damage. The attack that procs actually also... Wait, so have we changed... Has the system now changed to basically... I have a 75% chance to hit them, or I have a 75% chance to hit through their 50% chance to... Where is the notes on this? There was no notes up there about accuracy buffs and changes. What the... So 35% chance is gone on the magic damage, rip, and the mini stun is gone as well. You've basically just got attack speed and accuracy with pure damage proc. Pure damage is pretty good, I'll give it to you. Plus 16, not too bad. And that is, of course, on top of your normal damage, so it's not all terrible. But, no, I think this is meant to be plus 75% chance to do plus 60 pure damage. This makes Monkey King Bar, I feel like, a lot less decent now, actually, if I'm totally honest with you. I don't rate it as highly like that. Even at the 4200 cost, I feel that's better, right? You might as well just go, you know, from Mjolnir when you get into the stage. Lincoln Sphere cannot manually target self with Lincoln Sphere. I feel like that's a freaking given. Don't think people typically done that very often. But thank you for covering that ground, Ice Fraud. Yeah, indirect buff to PA. I should talk about that a bit more. Unless there's something else coming in. How this is going to affect evasion-based heroes, to put it very simply, not as much as you think. Silver Edge is still an incredibly desirable item. The stats you gain, the attack speed, the damage, and the fact that it's a low mana cost means that Silver Edge, if you see something like a Phantom Assassin, anything building evasion is still a very good item. It's, you know, this is not like, honestly, if you think back to how people deal with a lot of these heroes, you don't typically build a Monkey King Bar to deal with PA, you build a Silver Edge. You don't typically build a Monkey King Bar to deal with Bristleback, you build a Silver Edge. Overall, they're just better because, of course, you're going to get rid of all the passives of Phantom Assassin with a Silver Edge, and usually it gets rid of it long enough that you can kill her off. So I just think, like, now, I don't know if it's really got any real relevance. Maybe if you can do this damage on towers, because it's pure damage, I'd actually like to see that be the case, that Monkey King Bar can proc on towers, and then you're going to see it relevant on heroes like Troll Warlord, on hero, well, probably not Troll because it's attack speed, you don't need attack speed, but someone like Sniper will definitely pick this sort of item up. Same with someone like Outworld Devourer would benefit from it. Okay, Magic Wand. Magic Wand's different, boys. How could you? How could you change it? I now have a use of my Mongo. My Mango is now going to be used to make the Magic Wand. Oh, GG, boys. Plus 1.5 HP regen. Confirmed item to be built on everyone now, okay? That's like being a third of a Nyx. It's so good. That's actually decent. It's cheaper and it gives mana regen. Sorry, HP regen. Mana. If that gave 1.5 mana regen, it would be OP. But no, I like that change. I mean, Magic Wand, I don't know. It hadn't really fallen off. I just feel like people would be more interested in rushing the Soul Ring. And with the change of the Soul Ring plus the changes to Magic Wand's just become a little bit more viable now. Necronomicon item reworked. Remove mana burn from Archer. Really? Level 3 Archer now gains Purge. Oh. Okay, so Omni Knight's still going to be countered. You just have to build Necronomicon instead. And how much does it cost me? It costs me more now. It requires 2 Sage Masks and a Belt of Strength, but that is an easier build up in cost. Wait, Belt of Strength is 100 extra gold? Okay, we need to get to Treads so I can cry. And now, instead of getting the Strength and Intelligence, you actually gain Strength and Mana Regen. I feel like Lycan's kind of okay with that. He'll still build the item. I mean, he's getting more Strength. Of course he'll build the item. Ah, yes. This was the moment of glory. This was the secondary moment of glory, actually, after the Diffusal, where I was just bathing in the blood of innocence while screaming to the great god Imhotep for glory. Poor man's shield is gone. Poor man's shield is gone, and quite rightly so. I think it was a redundant item. Well, not redundant. It was redundant to the experience because it ruined things. The item didn't build into anything. It was too powerful for the laning phase for the cost. You just basically, if you go back and you look at every game, right? If it had an Agi melee, it was easy as hell. If it had a melee, it was easy as hell. Even sometimes I was seeing ranged people build it because it's just, you take 2 slippers and you buy the stout shield in the side store and laugh. The item was absurd. And actually, what this might see is we might see a return to people building Vanguard now, which I'm okay with as well. I mean, Vanguard's not exactly a cheap item to get, so absolutely fine with Vanguard maybe appearing a little bit more. Orb of Venom now, damage over time no longer dispels consumables or disables blink. That's exactly what we need to see, because as it currently stood, it was too easy to just waddle up over to the support and just interrupt clarities. And I'm fine with that Orb of Venom change. Orb of Venom should just be about the extra damage. Just like Poison Sting is about just burning damage on people over time. Putting it that way, absolutely fine with. Orb of Venom, once again, though, it would be interesting to see it build into something. I can't really think what we can have unless there's new items. Maybe there is. Apparently, someone said something about new items. I don't know if they were talking about revamps or if they're talking about new. We'll find out, though. Pipe of Insight now affects buildings. My Pugna. Oh, it was nice having you while you existed, Pugna. And Leshrac, your dreams of rejuvenation are gone. Seriously though, Disco Pony. It was good to know you when you were dank and yuled and killed everyone. Maybe we'll meet again. Where's my Khalifa music? Anyway, Ring of Regen, cost reduced. Makes Soul Ring a little bit more justifiable now, I guess. Not too much though. Satanic recipe has been changed. Now requires Claymore instead of a Mithril Hammer. So cheaper, basically. Cheaper. Claymore costs less. You keep clicking my stream in Doraim because you think you have messages. You just can't stay away, that's what it is. Sentry Wards no longer automatically appear in front of Observer Wards when buying the item. Quality of life. Steel Reg no longer applies enemy damage reduction. Kind of interesting, actually. They did at least give it a movement speed increase, so you should be able to close the distance and actually get your target in time now, or use it to escape, or whatever you're going to do it with. The damage reduction is kind of intriguing, though, because it was whole about just focusing down and crippling a single target. I'm not sure the damage reduction was needed, especially with the change we were just talking about, and how with Monking, by the way, is now you need an item that can deal with these heroes. Phantom Assassin, if she has decent items, can still actually kill you quite quickly, even if you disable her passives, because she can still just get that extra blink strike speed and smash you hard. Solar Crest accuracy increase is quite interesting, 35% to 40%. Peculiar. I don't really feel like Solar Crest needed any changes. Solar Crest is in a really good place at the moment. It's great. It's the best item if you want to go for a Roshan. At the same time, it's quite an easy item for any support to build into. You've got Medallion, which isn't really that expensive and has components so you can build into it easily enough. And if you get a Spike of Gold, you just make that hop with the final evasion. And Smoke. Stock cooldown reduced from 11 to 10 minutes. Kind of actually works out, considering they're charging more. You want to be able to maybe get hands on them more. Maybe use them more as a spike activity instead of a constant just stream. Soul Ring has been reworked, so let's see what they had in mind. So it used to obviously require all these things, 750 cost, and now it's going to be 755 cost, because it still requires a recipe, interesting enough. It gives +6 strength and 2 health regen, and the cooldown has been decreased by 5 seconds. I don't like it. I don't. I mean, don't get me wrong, I say they need to do something with Soul Ring, but I think they'd already done enough. I think the direct nerf to the item itself, on top of the fact that, you know, it doesn't build in anything, it's weird. It feels like what you should be doing is punishing heroes that don't build it into anything, right? But the removement of it from the Bloodstone and everything else, it feels like you're just crippling people that would build it, did build it into something, and now it's just... I mean, +6 strength is just going to be built on more heroes that have no mana, which I can kind of get behind in a certain way. At the same time, I think you're limited in an odd way here. Heroes like Legion might still build it. Darkseer will still build it because +6 strength is handy. Will allow you to survive more. But the 50% mana regen, I feel like it's just, this is overall, it's just a nerf to intelligence heroes. That's what it is. It's just focused on intelligence heroes. Less health regen and mana regen wise, yeah. Strength hero is going to be happier about, well, not fast, rather, about the mana regen difference. In the heroes would actually be kind of annoyed. But 25 seconds instead of 30, not bad. Now, increase from 16.8 to 18.9. Kind of expected that. They have to give the people something. I mean, they're taking the glorious stout shield upgrade away. Poor man's is no longer in existence. Poor men must now be poor men without poor man shields. How will they know? How will people know in society? How will they know that they are poor? You don't. You don't. Okay, so you just got to be able to shake off that damage, and that's what Stout Shield's going to give you now, I guess. I know shadow damage has been changed from pure to magical. This was kind of expected. Urn's just a really good item on any gank type heroes. So Night Stalker and Earth Spirit are very regularly tutored as heroes that once they built a Urn, they're pretty fine for quite a while. So I kind of like that change, but it has increased from 150 to 200. This just means if you've got magic resistance, you're fine. If you don't build magic resistance and you're getting earned a lot, learn your lesson, you mongoloid. Vladimir Aura now stacks with Ring of Aquila and Ring of Basilisk. I'm not sure you're really going to do with that often, but I can see a scenario, 1 or 2 scenarios where you might do that. low mana heroes with like semi-spam balls. Maybe something like Control Warlord might build. But at the same time, unless I see a change to Mask of Madness, that isn't going to be the case. We've got a new item! It's a Meteor Hammer! Oh, by the power of Grayskull, what do you do? Well, for the small price of 2,500, well, 2.625 to be specific, 1,000 gold, it will give me plus 12 strength, plus 12 int, plus 4 HP regen, plus 1.5 mana regen. That's not too bad. And channeling ability. For 3 seconds, summons a meteor that strikes a 300 AoE and stuns for 1.75 seconds. Applies a 6-second debuff that deals 60 damage per second to structures. Cast range 600, cooldown 40, mana cost 125. You have vision over the impact area for the channel duration. Meteor impact destroys trees. Meteor takes 0.5 seconds to land. Oh my god, we're all Invoker. What the... Where did this item come from? I mean, it came from Ice Frog, I assume, or someone who hacked his account. But what the hell? I mean, the damage on towers, like we were just saying, they wanted to make magic damage more viable for towers and less for taking out heroes. That's going to do that exactly, because now you got an item that's going to plonk on a tower. I'm just going to walk around pretending I'm 4. I'm not going to lie. Like, smite ye! And then suddenly a giant meatball drops from the sky and slams into someone. But 300 damage and stunning for 1.75 seconds. I'm just going to be the one to say this. Has anyone actually given contemplation to how likely pudges are to pick this up? I mean, you get good regen, and also it's going to easily set up a hook. I think Pudge is going to build it. I'm building it on Pudge. Just saying. Okay, Aeon Disc. Here we go. Got more to come. This one's 3,750. I think that might be the most expensive recipe in the game. That's the most expensive recipe. Provides 250 health, 250 mana, plus 25% status resistance, reduces the duration of effects like silence. Reduces the duration. Oh, that seems reasonable. Yeah, yeah. I'm going to go ahead and say that this is going to be a really good item on tanky individuals, like probably along the lines of Underlord. I got a feeling Underlord is targeted with this type of item, just because he's going to benefit from having more magic to spew out with more mana, and on top of that, you don't want to be controlled too long. That is actually really strong potential. That could potentially be really strong. When you consider this is going to be a great counter to things like Primal Roar, and Global Silence, and Orchid. Wow. Yeah, just wow. And it's got a passive. Whenever you take damage and are below 80% HP, you apply a strong dispel on your hero and you gain a 2.5 second buff that reduces all incoming and outcoming damage to 0. Cooldown 100 seconds, only triggers on player-based damage. We all Tidehunter now, boys! I knew it. I knew it. As soon as I read the first part, I was like, this sounds a bit like Tidehunter. And then I read that part, it's like, we are all now Tidehunter. We're just basically... You know, Watermelon Man is already out the door halfway. Let's just kick him back into the sea and let him go and piss Kunker off for a few more centuries. Because we don't want him anymore, okay? He's gone. Although in fairness, 3.75k gold to build isn't exactly cheap. And especially because I don't think this builds anything. And for what it does... You maybe want something a bit more impactful at the same time. Like I said, 8%, like this passive is good. It's really good. If they jump on you hard, you laugh your face off. The point is, you can easily play away around this. Just tap them below it, and you're good to go. Because the thing that you got to keep in mind here is this: below 80% HP, just to get supplied. Doesn't matter if you're stunned or anything. You just be hit, and suddenly strong dispel. And of course, the reduced damage for 2.5 seconds is going to help. The interesting part that I want to see is how this interacts with Blink. Now, this is going to be the peculiar part. If I build this item and I trigger the reduced damage, am I still technically refreshing my Blink cooldown because I'm taking damage even though it's 0? Or does it act as if the damage didn't occur and I can then blink if I'm not attacked between the end and the next 0.5 seconds? It's going to be an interesting one to see. And yeah, Meteor Hammer definitely sounds pretty strong Fox, especially for the 2.6k cost. Spirit Vessel. Okay, Urn of Shadows actually has someone to build into now. Actually, Soaring hasn't appeared here anywhere. I'm upset so far. Hopefully it'll have something to build into, but okay. Shadows has a use now beyond the early game. Let's see if it actually buffs up the likes of Earth Spirit even more. So this item costs 2.8k in total. It gives 250 HP, 30 movement speed. No surprise, the wind lace in there. And then a small increase like armor stats and mana regen. The active, in addition to earn behavior, casting on an enemy target now reduces enemy HP regen, heals by 70%. What? Oh, sorry, that's the way it's written. Reduces enemy HP regen and heals by 70%. And drains 3% of the target's current health per second. Okay, we basically don't have a use. Sorry, is this a means of getting us away from Necrophos? We don't need Necrophos. We've got an upgraded urn now. It's all good. Casting on an allied target now amplifies HP regen and health by 20%. And increases the target's health by 1% of the... Okay, now has relevance later in the game. Dazzle's going to be happy. Nightstalker's going to be happy. Spirit's going to be happy. Anyone that we would have built... Spirit Breaker. Spirit Breaker is just going to get a lot more kills now. Because he's got the extra damage he needs, even if he doesn't get the magical bashes of Bashland. He needs RNG when you've just got pure AIDS damage. Too good. Too good. I should also point out how painful it's going to be for the likes of heroes that spike up heals really hard. So... Guys, you remember Huskar? You remember that, like, mythologically, I heard once upon a time there was a hero in Dota that existed called Huskar. And you remember how he used to be really good? Pick. And then they nerfed him. Well, this is not going to change that. He's just more nerfed now. Because that's going to stop him from being able to heal up fast from low HP. Also, how do you guys feel about Oracle now being really irrelevant? Because if you see an Oracle in a game, I'm going to give you a pro tip here. Build a Spirit Vessel, because as soon as you see him use his ult, just use the Spirit Vessel on the person that uses ult on, and then watch him frantically try and heal them, and then achieve nothing because they're doing 70% less. Also, Slark's going to be great when he comes out of Shadow Dance and he's got barely any extra health. Overall, this item is going to be mega AIDS. This is going to just turn painful heroes into more painful. It's going to make defensive heroes less relevant. Except Dazzle. Dazzle's back in, guys. Dazzle. Shallowgrave did. Oh, wait. No, he's not. Because they can't heal themselves back up quickly afterwards. Huskar is now going to be probably the least picked hero in professional Dota. Who else do we talk about? Any hero that builds a lot of lifesteal? Have you ever seen how funny it is when an Ursa tries to lifesteal up? He's got loads of Fury Swipes, but he can't really heal much now because he's getting 70% less? Who else is there? There's so many that you could go with, right? Like, honestly, Oracle was the perfect example. Oracle's the best example, and I'm fine with that, because screw you, Oracle. Oh, Winter Wyvern. You thought you saved that person from the ganking Night Stalker? Good luck. That Cold Embrace just healed them for about 5%. And dead. Yeah, this is going to be painful. Are you sure about Spirit Breaker Bash? Hey, you're right. He doesn't need that item. Spirit Breaker never misses the bash. Just build Echo Saber. Just in case. Just precautionary. Okay, Nullifier. So I don't like the sound of this. I really don't like the sound of this. These are Sacred Relic. Good. So when I've gone over halfway towards that Radiance, I now have an alternative choice if I don't like what I'm doing. These are Helm of Iron Will. Give 65 damage. Yeah, I expect that because I built a Sacred Relic. Dispels the target and mutes them for 5 seconds. Anytime the muted target is attacked, it will be slowed by 100% for 0.4 seconds. Oh my god, this is the ultimate gang rape tool. Apply slow on projectile impact. Cooldown 14 seconds. This item has about a 40% uptime. And if you build a Cocteau core, oh my god. Oh, it's a projectile at least, so maybe you can blink dodge it, but oh my god, that is, like, people don't actually realize how big that is. It's not just the fact, like, how to put this? You're dispelling them and you're muting them. Okay, so think about that for a second. Say you go for one of those glorious classic combos that everyone hates you for, where you have an Omni Knight and you have a Phantom Assassin, and Omni Knight puts a repel on the Phantom Assassin, and Phantom Assassin jumps in, and then you nullify her. She now has no evasion. She has no crits. She doesn't have magic protection. She's dead. This is your new Monkey King Bar / Silver Edge. Mainly because you're getting plus 65 damage. It's an interesting item. It's definitely going to change things a lot. This is quite peculiar. This is probably the most absurd item I've seen so far. But at the same time, I can kind of get behind reasoning, and it seems okay on the basis that it's for, well, almost 5,000 gold. At the same time, I then have to remember, it doesn't just dispel and mute them. It slows them by 100% every time they're attacked. And it doesn't matter how tanky you are, with that increase on the cooldown of 4 staff, and the cooldown of this, I see some nasty attempts at escaping that always fail. Good luck. Now, it says apply slow on projectile impact. Is it only projectile impact? Or could I technically burn someone and keep screwing them? Could we technically have a radiance in like a Leshrac and they could just never move? Disco pony, guys. Build a disco pony. Kaya! Kaya! Okay, this is only 2,000 gold. Ooh. So this gives us 10% spell amp, okay, and 10% mana cost and mana loss reduction. Affects things like mana burn, mana cost. So it increases the cost, but mana loss reduction. Wait, what? So I'm confused about that, the way that it's said. Anyway, oh no, I see what I mean. Yeah, so basically your spells cost less, and the spells that would take mana away from people take more now. Build this on a lion, then laugh at the Wraith King. Build it on a come on, in fairness, you get 16 extra in, you get plus 10% spell amp. It's a reasonable build up. Build on a lion. Okay? This is the tip no one's probably given so far on this one. Build on lion. Then laugh. Okay, regeneration formula. This part should probably be quite quick, I hope. Health and mana regen formulas have been reworked for both health and mana. You get a direct value. Okay, after that, strengthening. Okay, so you have base values just like you would with damage. Fair enough. Stat just changes to the... Wait, what's this? Stat tooltip area tells you how much HP MP percentage increases provided by your attributes. Nice. I don't have to math anymore. Oh, looks like I'm going to have to get rid of Greta because I no longer have to take an Asian along in a party with me. I can just have the game work things out for me. Reworked mana regeneration formula to change percentage bonuses to raw bonuses. Nice. Each point of intelligence amplifies mana regen by 2%. Yeah, I like this. Some of you aren't following because math. Just overall good things. Logical changes, in my opinion, when it comes to that gain and regeneration. Talents have been rescaled to account for the new formula. Yeah. Wait, what did I miss here? Oh, in general items that gave 50% mana regen before now give 0.5 and 100% gives 1, etc, etc, etc. Got it. There you go. That was a simple explanation for you. Talents have been scaled, like we said. Adjusted skills. Crystal Maiden aura on allies rescaled from 1, 1.5, 2, 3 to 0.8, 1, 1.2, 1.4. But because of the rescaling balances and what they've said, no, that's still decreased. That's still nerf. Aura on self has been rescaled from 2348 to 1234. Wow, Crystal Maiden. Rip. Death Pulse mana regen rescaled from 1357 to 2.25, 25, 2.75. Actually, no, this is right. This is right. It does balance out about the same with those changes. Shrine MP regen from 40 to 30. Yeah. And shrines no longer increase their MP regen as time elapses. I barely ever noticed they did anyway. Always had to take all my items off. Felt like I was stripping naked for the goddamn audience. Like, grind on this pole for 20 a lot. Alright, I'll do it. And they've done the same thing for HP as well. Got things like Chemical Rage HP regen is rescaled from 50, 7500 to 40, 48, 56. That feels not just mapped out. That feels like a hit, a real big hit. But wow, let's regen. Let's regen, boys. And attribute changes. Intelligence mana increase from 11 to 12. All agility heroes base movement speeds reduced by 5. Wait, no. No. Why are you giving agility heroes that tune? Okay, can we talk about Bambi? Can we talk about Chicken? Oh, no, Chicken. Chicken needs his movement. But Bambi, how about Bambi? Freaking Enchantress is moving at speed of light now. Jesus Christ, it's gonna be like it's bad enough me trying to hit her how slow it is. Now I gotta try and chase her with that slow? Oh, this is painful. Strength, agility, and intelligence attributes now give a unique perk to the hero if they are the respective hero type, in addition to +1. Wait, what's the perk? Okay. Strength gain 0.15% status resistance. If you recall, those are the ones that decrease the length of things like silences, stuns, etc. Agilities gain 0.06 movement speed. Oh, okay. Mask of Madness may be better, unless they've nerfed it. They probably nerfed it. And intelligence gains are plus 0.15% magic resistance. That's the least impressive in my opinion. Okay, so attribute summary. Yeah, we can just simple numbers. Pretty much covered it. 1/6 armor, plus 1 attack speed. Of course, you get the perks of damage. Everyone's going to get perk of damage, otherwise they'd be really pathetic. Out of the hero changes. Oh my god, I think we're making good progress here. It's been an hour and a half, and we made it to the hero changes. I said I was going to be quicker than Purge. I'm not sure I will at this rate. All hero talent trees have been redesigned. Many new abilities. Yep, that's what I'm looking forward to. Okay, so Abaddon. Abaddon, you get either plus 25% movement speed, 25 movement speed, or plus 20% XP gain. That's actually nice. I feel like Abaddon's that type of hero who needs level to be effective, so putting XP gain right at the start is good. At the same time, level 10 is not exactly right at the start, so it's good and bad. Level 15, plus 6 armor, or plus 50 mist coil heal slash damage. Once again, I'm not too impressed with the level 15 one. 20 is a bit better though. Cooldown reduction or plus 90 damage. So now you can actually be a carry or a support. That's good. And then level 25, the Apothic's shield health or the Curse of Burn Slow. Once again, carry or support slash tank. In fairness, actually, you could argue the Curse of Burn Slow. I mean, you could use it as a carry or just as a tank because that's the slow. It's not the attack speed as well. Hey Layla, how you doing? Alright, Alchemist, attack speed or armor. Yeah, no, I kind of expect that. That's pretty typical for him. The plus 50 damage or plus 250 health is pretty nice though. Just because you can actually be spiked out quite easily. So if you're struggling a bit, if something like Aged Apparition in game, you might feel pushed towards the health. Alternatively, the damage, if you just want to accelerate your farm or you want to be more aggressive. The 25% cleave or 200% unstable concoction damage is an interesting one at level 20 though. I mean, at that point, you don't really care too much because you're already farming so quickly from Radiance, but the cleave is always nice, especially if you took the damage as well. The unstable concoction damage of plus 200 is a lot, though, so I could see that being picked up reasonably well. Especially if you're going for support alch. Support alch might make a comeback with this sort of thing, but then again, it's level 20 you have to get to for that. And then, of course, the unstable concoction cooldown or the chemical rage base attack time. Yep, just carry versus controller. That decrease at level 25 is pretty damn big, though. Of course, it comes with its own risk because, you know, once you cast and you're running around with that goddamn thing, if you can't find a target to throw it at, you're just going to end up stunning yourself. And if you took the extra 200 damage, keep in mind you're going to take that extra 200 damage. AA. Ooh, Chill and Touch has been changed. Duration rescale from 30 to 20, 24, 28, 32. Yes! Wait, no. Oh god, no, not my Aged Apparition. No. In fairness, I kind of expected him to come back. He's kind of fallen off. No longer reduces allies' attack speed. Well, Tri-Lanes may be coming back soon. Chill and Touch, magic damage reduced from 50 to 30. Oh, maybe not. Okay, that explains it a lot. Actually, in fairness, that can still get you first blood. And Chill and Touch now applies to stacking 30% slow for... Okay, that's actually really good. If 3 heroes are attacking someone, that is basically them always slowed. He now gets gold per minute or spell amp. This is actually great because it means you don't just have to rush and Midas. You could argue you could get a Yules and still get a Ags in reasonable time. Plus 20 HP regen or Ice Vortex cooldowns means potentially maybe you're not like, well, this is basically to just rear him off the Tranks into something different, perhaps. Alternatively, Ice Vortex cooldown. It works nicely with certain lineups. Typically, you'll take the health regen in that scenario, though, just because AA struggles to stay alive. Plus 8 Chill and Touch damage or plus 8% Ice Vortex slow. Probably going to take the Chill and Touch just because with the removal of the attack slow, that's going to be really strong in 5-man fights. And then you get 4% Ice Blast, kill threshold, or 4 charges of Cold Feet. Well, I didn't expect that. I was kind of like, I was going, yep, 4% kill Ice Blast, everyone's going to take that. And then I read 4 charges of Cold Feet. I'm like, okay, nope, we've got a contender. We've got a contender. Also, imagine how effective that's going to be if you take something like a Jakiro as well, or anything that's going to be a Yules. If you've got multiple Yuleses now, and you just cold feet everyone and just slap your Yules targets in the air, everyone's stunned in place and easily set up for whatever you want. This is basically the Gyro treatment, because of course he got the rockets at level 25. This is actually going to be arguably just as absurd, because even if you don't stun them, the thing you're doing to them is because you've got so many cold feet, they keep running or they get frozen. They don't have a choice in this. So that is actually incredibly strong. I didn't expect that, and well played, Ice Rod. Well played. Anti-Mage now gets health or attack speed. No surprise there. When you're at level 10, you're still pretty squishy. Or if you feel you can just farm without any problems, attack speed is the easiest choice to make. Still having the Blink cooldown or Blink Uncontrollable Illusion. Wait, what? Creates a 25% damage illusion, takes 250% damage. Okay, apparently, Anti-Mage is trying to become Phantom Lancer. Basically, when you blink, you create an illusion. You can't control it, though. It means it's not very... I don't know. It's a weird one, because I don't think it's going to be that great. It's an interesting little thing. Maybe you're winning a fight and you just blink right next to yourself so you create another one to attack with. Because in reality, because you can't control it, and the fact that they've just seen you blink, they know it's not the real you. At the same time, you could argue there's a relevance in if you blink quickly and they try to blink afterwards and you tap them with that illusion already, you've interrupted their blink. So it does have a point. But it'll be interesting to see how that does get used. Level 20 is plus 300 blink cast range or 10 all stats. That's actually a reasonable choice. Both of them are very good. But if you you could maybe offset the blink cast range if you already took the blink cooldown. So it's arguably either way. And then at level 25, you get the Mana Void cooldown or 30% spell shield. I'm kind of not surprised by that. In honest fairness, the agility was actually just as good as that spell shield's ever going to be. Just because, what was it? It was 40 or 60 actually. No, it's like 35 or 40, I think. There's still a lot of agility, and the speed at which you struck at level 25 was quite insane. So this actually balanced the choice a little bit more. I'm not going to say Spell Shield is better than the agility. It's still very strong, and now this actually gives a balanced choice between the two. And I think this is what we're going to see consistently for a lot of these. Some heroes would have got direct buffs on these changes to their talents, and other ones kind of got like slight nerfs to even out the playing field. I mean, this is an outright buff for Ancient Apparition, right? But other cases, this is just a case going, okay, Anti-Mage, now Mana Void might be a good idea. I mean, there's arguably maybe 1 or 2 scenarios where it is when you're against the likes of, Medusa. But for the most, it's not necessarily a great idea. Now, with a plus 30% spell shield, there's an argument either way. Have they got a lot of right click or they got a lot of magic? And that's the choice you get to make. Arc Warden with a 25 attack speed or 5 armor makes sense. The hero can... Well, he's got the flexibility now. He can either be more tanky in the pushes or he can just attack quicker. You get the plus 2 second flux duration or plus 350 health. That's actually a very, very tough choice. If you find individual kills, and typically if you're in a pub game, you'll probably like to go for that flux duration. If you can find individual kills and split up the team, you're always going to take flux there. But plus 350 HP, I think that's the biggest amount I've seen at level 15 talents. That is a lot of HP gain for a squishy agi hero that creates an illusion of himself. Level 20, 100 attack range or 10% cooldown reduction. Just basically build a freaking Dragon Lance and take out towers from range. You just need a new sniper at level 20. And it's a tough choice once again because 10% cooldown reduction. Remember, that's not just talking about your spirits, that's talking about your magnetic field, talking about your flux, talking about all that stuff. And then at level 25, do you want 30% lifesteal or plus 300%, plus 350 Spark Wraith? Another balanced choice. There are going to be some builds where you would go lifesteal, but typically you're looking at things like you get a Mjolnir and you look for the procs. You're not actually looking for lifesteal. So having an extra plus 350 Spark Wraith damage can mean just instantly evaporating a creep or just killing a hero off so easily. This just allows Arc Warden in the late game to be a lot more threatening without needing to have the Divine Rapier nerf removed. Axe, once again, I like this. Attack speed or strength. Attack speed because sometimes actually when someone's running away with low HP and you can't get them to fight you, you've battle hungered them up and you've got that advantage of running them down. Attack speed can work quite nicely. And also this is going to allow him to actually just revert to the jungle if things get a bit tough more easily. The strength gain, of course, always good for Axe. He always benefits from early strength. At the same time, I believe they changed it around because I think Mana Regen was at level 10 before, and I kind of don't like that they've changed that around. They put it on level 15 now. I feel like movement speed or Mana Regen. Movement speed seems like a good idea, but I think you'll always get Mana Regen here, unless you've already built an item to circumvent that. But typically on Axe, you're looking for a Blink Dagger. 4-star won't necessarily give you that sort of regen, but then you might go for something like a Yule to control someone, or Blade Mail is a typical one. Yours is me thinking outside the box if you want to justify not getting Mana Regen. Level 20 with the HP regen I do like, but attacks proc counter Helix. Rolls Helix chance on attacks. But they already do that. Oh, sorry, no, his attacks. Oh. I actually like that. I actually like that. Literally, guys, just look on the right side and realize that you're going to basically choose all of the right side because you'll be able to run at people, slapping them around the face, going, fight me. Also, keep in mind that Mjolnir is now a good item on Axe. Wow. That is actually a big change to Axe. That makes him more than just a one-trick pony, who, in the laning phase, is a bit bloody annoying if you get too close to him, but he's always just jumping in for the mini Magnus RPs. Then, at level 25, you get either the plus 100 Berserker Call AoE, which is good if you want to be the mini RP, because now you're closer to the actual RP, or plus 120 Battle Hunger DPS. It's strong. Trust me, people actually don't take into consideration just how strong that is when you consider how long Battle Hunger lasts. Supports are going to hate you. They really are going to hate you, unless they're carrying a Midas to quickly save themselves near a creep camp. Bane, what you got for Bane? Bane can attack Nightmare units without waking them. Away. What? From a lore point of view, that makes sense. Well, not like Judge Dredd standards of lore, but from a lore, as in like an LORE perspective, yeah, that makes sense. But from the bottom of my heart, Ice Frog, why? I mean, I guess this is a method for stopping people just spamming out maxed brain zaps, but why? No, Bane doesn't have super mega amazing attack speed here, but Jesus Christ. Although I'm going to get onto why it is ridiculous even more in a second. Okay, all cast points reduced from 0.5 to 0.4. Bane's just getting buffed everywhere. Nightmare no longer deals 20 damage per second. Who cares? I can attack them for more than 20 damage per second. Now, on to the part that gets really ridiculous. Enfeeble, we've always talked about how Enfeeble is pretty irrelevant. Now, don't get me wrong. Pretty irrelevant is probably a bit of a strong word. There are certain scenarios where it's good, but for the most, you usually want to get Brain Sap and Nightmare. What they've decided to go is, hey, let's make Enfeeble relevant by turning Bane into Razor. Oh boy. Do you want to know why this is even better? Because if you're in a match against a Razor and he just stole the damage from your carry, go ahead and just use Enfeeble on him, Nightmare him, and then laugh. Because you will be laughing. But more to the point, but one the interesting little interaction I don't think a lot of people considered like that, or maybe an Altitan, who's got loads of damage. Oh my god, no, Bane's just basically the ultimate counter to Altitan in the late game. You just enfeeble him and take all his damage you just got because he took plus 100 on each hero touched. Anyway, point is, this doesn't actually buff enfeeble in the way that people would have liked to have seen, which is it being more relevant on more than the very odd occasion in the early game. Now, it's just a case of by the time you're level 10, you are going to probably start leveling it. That's fine. This does kind of force you maybe away from going Brain Sap, because if you're going Enfeeble, you're going for a lot more Nightmare points, so Nightmare and Enfeeble. So I kind of balance out in a weird way. But yeah, I think that's always going to be the steel damage. You're not going to take plus 6 armor. To be honest, honestly, just being able to throw out a few extra right clicks of Bane is a big deal. Then at level 15, plus 150% cast range, 50... What do I keep saying percentage? Plus 150 cast range or 40% XP. 40% XP gain is insane. That's absolutely insane. Especially considering when you go further in. Look, level 20 plus 100 enfeeble damage reduction. Yeah, that stealing damage is coming a bit crazy now. Or 75 movement speed, which actually is the first time I've genuinely, for a serious scenario, without even hesitation, gone, movement speed might be a good idea here. And then we get to level 25. You thought Shadow Shaman was annoying when he grabbed you and his team alone and he just shackled you for 9 seconds. How would you like Fiend's Grip to last an extra 7 seconds? That BKB, not going to last long enough. You're screwed. Or you can go for Brain Sap, heal. No, I'll take the Fiend's Grip every day there. The only catch is if you're going for the Enfeeble build and you want to be the right clicker, then Fiend's Grip's not going to work out. But the point is, what Enfeeble's still going to do, and this is the thing, even if you're not doing right clicks here, you got to remember Enfeeble's stealing damage. So Enfeeble's always going to be good in this scenario because, well, whoever you're using it on is going to hit very hard, are they? Or not as hard. That right changes. Flame Break projectile now visually flies on an arc. Oh, okay, fair enough. Not too big of a deal. Well, actually, no, that is a deal. Ooh. Instead of... So you actually have to anticipate it a bit better. Imagine firing mortars instead of, I don't know, just throwing something directly at the ground in front of you. Okay, level 10 will give plus 5 armor or 6% spell amp. That 6% spell amp is actually huge, especially if you build yourself a... whatever the item is they've now introduced, the 2k item I was talking about that you can get, that I was saying to build online. That actually would work really well for Batrider. Just if he wants to stack and farm jungle quickly, or just for killing heroes, because 1 or 2 sticky napalms, and then you run them down with the Firefly, they're not going to last very long. On top of the Flame Break now being able to get 300 HP or plus 2 seconds to Flame Break, that could be crazy. If there's a sticky napalm reduction. There isn't, but there is a cooldown reduction. So actually, pretty decent. I think at level 20 you might take the movement speed though, just for the fact that between the Force Staff and the running away, that's going to allow you to pull someone who's lassoed much further away from their team than otherwise. And then finally level 25, Firefly. Oh my god, they're just going for aids all around. It's like every hero that has a long disable, they looked at and went, that's not what a long disable looks like. Like it's going to last 15 seconds. Long disable has to last at least almost 100% of that fight. And hence we have level 25 with plus 8 Firefly duration. Oh my god. Or minus 13 seconds Flame Break. Now, I'm sorry, but no, you're just going to go Firefly every time here. Flame Break would have had justification if they didn't take away the knockback ability. If they kept the knockback ability, the Flame Break build would be viable. But now it's going to be Firefly every time. Beastmaster's been reworked. I'm surprised. He still gets picked reasonably. Wild Axe reworked. Wild Axe spread distance increased from 353 to 450. Just got to keep it round, I know. I mean, 353 is a bit weird number anyway. Wild Axe's hit radius increased from 140 to 175, so easy to hit. Mana cost reduced. Damage is reduced. And the cooldown is down by a decent amount, 13 to 8 seconds. Now places a stacking debuff on affected units. Amplifies all damage target takes from Beastmaster or his units for 6, 8, 10, 12% for each axe hit. Okay. That, very simply, is them attempting to make the Beastmaster axes worthwhile leveling. I like the attempt, though, because that's not a bad way to go. And especially once you get Necronomicon, you're going to want to have those wild axes available, because it kind of beats having, you know, the attack speed, necessarily. Well, no, actually, no, I think it evens out. This is the weird thing. I think you need something different wild axe to maybe benefits people coming in to help the gank. I don't think you give them this buff here because that would be too powerful. Like up to 24% extra damage done by everyone attacking would be insane. But I feel like you need something. Maybe if they increase slow instead. Actually give them more slow control would be insane. Primal Roar now causes Beastmaster and all these units to gain 30% movement speed for 3 seconds. Hit and runs, boys. Hit and runs. For days, I will just Primal Roar and run away. And I can do it now, finally, without dying. Okay, rework Call of the Wild is now a single ability. Beast lasts 60 seconds. Cooldown is 60. Mana cost 50, 60, 70, 80. And level 1, you get a level 1 boar. Level 2, level 3, you get the boar and hawk. And level 4, you get a boar, a hawk, and a random neutral. What? Please tell me I'm about to summon a freaking centaur warrunner out of nowhere. No, not warrunner. Crap. That's the wrong guy. But no, yeah, just you know, trolls coming out of nowhere, throwing nets. Just all of a sudden. Why not? This as funny as it is in my mind, I'm also crying inside because the word random never sits well with me in these sort of scenarios. That's going to be painful. Damage has been slightly buffed in the early levels, nerfed in the later. And Boar Slow still as it was. Boar Slow duration about where it was as well. Hawk no longer becomes invisible. Bit of a surprise with that. Kind of makes Hawk a lot... Actually, no, it's got health now, so it can last more than one hit. And it has night and day sight of 1,000. It's pretty decent. Neutral. We'll select a random neutral from the following list. Alpha Wolf, Hellbear Smasher, Satyr, Tormentor, Centaur Conqueror, Dark Troll, Summon. Nope. Just caught Penguin out. He's like, in before a small camp summon. You don't get any small camp, son. You only get the bigger. Okay, so... just going to point out that getting an Alpha Wolf as a Beastmaster in the early stages of the game is actually incredibly powerful. And actually, you haven't managed to change people's minds about getting Wild Axes. More people are going to actually just max out the boar. Because if you can get an Alpha Wolf and you've got a Primal Roar, that's probably going to be a dead person every time. Every time. Alright, now you get movement speed or XP gain. I think that's actually pretty good. 25% XP gain at that stage is really good. Especially as you go up to the boar damage or armor. The 500 HP or Wild Axe's damage. It's going to be 500 HP in that scenario, I think. And plus 2 Hawks or plus 40 in a Beast attack speed. It's usually going to be in attack speed unless you're playing some sort of support Beast. Amazingly enough, whenever you say the words support Beastmaster, people cringe. But actually, support Beastmaster has been a thing in the past. It is okay. Probably less so because now it's harder to summon more boars. But with the creeps disappearing, maybe you rush Helm with Dominator and actually are able to do a lot as a support Beastmaster here. We'll have to see though. Something to test. And I'm all about testing new things. I'm all about trying everyone on. What? Bloodseeker. Rupture cast range reduced from 1,800. Ha 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 ha. You're going to have to get a little bit closer before you can smell that tampon. Right, then he gets attack speed or armor. Pretty standard choices once again. And then HP or blood right damage. I think they've kept that exactly the same. Or have it. No, I think it used to be someone else with blood or blood right damage. You can take the blood right damage so you could actually clear creep waves. So, interested to see if that really changes things. Now you can get 25% lifesteal or rupture damage plus 14% at level 20. That's a decent choice to be able to be pushed into making though. That's not bad at all. And then level 25, blood right cooldown reduction or plus 21st. Once again, a balanced choice. And I don't think like it's not as insane as other heroes, but at the same time, Bloodseeker's that type of hero has been insane throughout the game. He doesn't need a huge level 25 buff. Bounty Hunter track can now be alt-clicked to alert your team to how much gold the target has. This information is already available in the track debuff tooltip. I didn't actually know that. Honestly, I play so much and I never actually noticed that. But now it's clear for us. We can now know how valuable that target is and how many heroes should dive out tier 1 to get him. Now you can get plus 30 movement speed or plus 25% XP gain. Once again, great one for Bounty Hunter because he can suffer on the XP side of things. Attack speed or health if you want to go for the attack speed build and actually become a right clicker. And we'll get into why that's going to be good later. Level 20 you can get plus 75 shuriken toss damage or plus 125% Shinada critical strike. Oh look, we arrived at the point we get onto that. Yeah, you know. I think, was it higher? Janada was higher before. I think it added even more before. But they balanced out a bit better now because shuriken toss, remember, you can bounce that between targets, so they're tracked. It is pretty strong. And then finally, at level 25, would you like 50% evasion? Yes, as long as no one on my team has evasion already. Or 300 track gold. Hold on. Wait. No, I don't need that. Well, I mean, maybe I need that. You know, that extra gold could allow me to transition to a right clicker from the Dagon Zappy Bounty Hunter. No, so maybe. Overall, giving a little bit of viability towards maybe a Bounty Hunter right-click build, but still going to be a very niche choice to make Bounty Hunter right-click. I feel like this is just typically going to be favored into the 25% XP gain, the health, because it's incredibly squishy, and then getting your hands on the shuriken toss damage into the track gold. Because the thing is, actually, at this stage in the game, when you're level 25, the only thing I'm thinking is if you arrive as a support, you maybe don't go for the track gold, just on the basis that if you're playing position 4 or 5, or 5 usually is the Bounty Hunter, by the time you reach level 25, unless you've seriously snowballed, everyone's pretty much got everything they need. So getting extra gold is not going to help that much. Probably already farmed buybacks at a decent rate. So 50% evasion just to increase your viability might be worthwhile, as long as you aren't on the same team as like a Phantom Assassin, and they built, you know, multiple ways of actually getting through that evasion. We can't say Monkey King Bar anymore. Oh my god! Alright, Brewmaster, 200 HP or plus 30 damage. That's a nice little buff. Brewmaster is that kind of hero that can be played as kind of like an offset carry, and it isn't too bad. It's not overly potent, but well, that's unfair. With the crit chance and actually the stat gain, Brewmaster can make a decent right clicker. Not on the same level as a Void or a Juggernaut, but he's still pretty brutal. And at the same time, plus 200 HP allows you to actually be that tanky frontliner. You can just blink in, go for the Thunderclap and chase after him with the plus 3 seconds Thunderclap slow. Wow, oh my goodness. Then we get into actually level 20 is going to be one, because I'm skipping past level 50. I'm like, 20% magic resistance is a very rare choice. I think often you gotta go for the Thunderclap. Level 20 though, plus 100 attack speed or plus 1500 primal split health. That's actually incredibly strong. And actually, when we were casting the other night, we saw one of the great uses you can put to with the primal split, which is split pushing. Having an extra 1500 HP on those copies, those primal splits, means you can easily just push down towers without having to worry about losing too much health on all of the guys. And level 25, this is where it gets really insane. Minus 65 seconds on primal split cooldown or plus 15% drunken brawler. This is basically, like I said, it's just going, this is a right click. You can make viable right click thanks to the talents now, or you can go full on initiation and control factor in fights, because minus 65 seconds on primal split cooldown is not a small amount. That's a huge decrease. In fact, I'm pretty sure Brewmaster's ult is it 100 seconds? Double check. 120, I think it was. Might be wrong here. Primal split is 140, 120, 100. There you go. So 35, every 35 seconds. That's insane. That basically, like I want you to think of combos you can do with that. Things like Ancient Apparition, because the timing on his ult, you can set up perfectly. You just tornado someone, Hurricane Katrina them in the air. As soon as they come down, they hit in the face with an Ancient Apparition Ice Blast. And because of the health you've got on these primal splits, you can easily just run them down and kill them. Bristleback. He's got bristles on his back. Well, level 10's a given choice still. I think it's always going to be mana regen over movement speed, because honestly, you'll get the movement speed good enough from your quills, and you'll get nasal goo spray. Level 15, max goo stacks or health. That's actually balanced the choice out a bit now, so there's a bit more viability behind getting the max goo stacks instead of the health. Health still feels pretty damn good there. 250 is not to be, nose turned up at level 15. Level 20, you can either get 25 cool stack damage or 20 health regen. This is really good at setting them up as a tank, and hugely so. I think level 10 is a given choice still. I really do. But everything else, I mean, because when you get to level 25, you've got spell life still at 50% or 20 warpath damage per stack. This is basically saying, do you actually want to be a armor debuffing, right-clicking madman, or do you actually want to be the tank? And the thing you have to keep in mind, 250 extra health in conjunction with this health regen. I mean, even just the health on its own. Remember, effective HP versus HP. And if you're hitting Bristle on the back, that 250 health is a lot higher. It's almost 500. So always keep that in mind, that things aren't as clear as they seem when you've got to take into consideration things like armor, debuffer factors, like, less damage taken to the back, Bristle back and the sides. Overall, I like the way they've kind of squared up Bristle. I do think level 10 is the weak point, because I don't think really anyone's going to go for the movement speed. I don't think it's worth 20 for the sacrifice of the mana regen. And Broodmother. Broodmother Spin Whip no longer grants invincibility. Wow, that must be a huge health increase for her then. Let's have a look. Spin Web pathing / speed buff is no longer removed from when taking damage. Okay, that's kind of interesting. So instead of just being an invisible hero now, you're just constantly more elusive. Movement speed reduced from 290 to 270. Okay, yep, you're completely crippled dicked off web, and you're actually slower on web. That's good. No, that's not. And Spiderling HP reduction, as well as Spider Light HP reduction. So this looks painful, but there's a good reason, okay? Because no one likes Brood. The real reason, the more important reason you got to keep in mind here, is Broodmother is insanely powerful when in the right pick stage. If you get to the last pick and you haven't shut down the possibility of a Broodmother pick and it hasn't been banned, it gets picked, and you have no solution to it. So I kind of understand where they come from, because you want to minimize heroes like that exist in the game. Yes, you should be punished for drafting poorly, but the thing about Broodmother is, if you drafted poorly against it, it instantly ended the game for you. You couldn't do anything about it. Spiders do now have 50% magic resistance now, though, because I think Spiderling's still going Viz by the looks of it, which is going to be intriguing. Spider's armor increased by 8, and the HP regen increased from 0.5 to 2, and Spin Web charge increased from 1234 to 2468, which is no surprise. Absolutely no surprise, just because when you consider the fact that you're no longer invisible on them, you're going to want at least 2 webs to be able to be propped up instantly in the lane, just because you're now relying on movement over actually hiding. But level 10, you can get the plus 60 spawn Spiderling damage, which is pretty hefty, or 200 HP. There's more if you want to go the Brawler or the Split Push build, because then you can get XP gain or cooldown reduction. Cooldown reduction is likely if you want to go for more split pushing. Attack speed or Spider's attack damage, once again, pretty obvious choice if you want to be a split pusher or a direct attacker. And then level 25, do you want extra insatiable hunger damaged lifesteal or extra health for Spiders? Yeah, this is just making a clear line of choice between which type of Broodmother you want to be in the game. I'm actually fine with that. Right, Centaur. Actually, no changes to Centaur, which is surprising. His pick rate has been pretty much in the dumpster. It's not really been existent, shall we say. People haven't really been tapping into that hero at all. So I'm intrigued to say that they didn't make any changes to the hero directly, just his talents. So plus 10% evasion or magic resistance. Very obvious what you're up against. You're up against a lot of right click, you're up against a lot of magic. It's that simple. 75 damage or 50% return strength damage. Do you want to be a right clicker or do you want to be the tank again? Plus 250 double edge damage or plus 20 strength. And then, of course, 1.5 second hoof stomp duration or gains return aura. That return aura is the one where it affects everyone near you as well, your return. So I don't think you're going to see the damage being taken too often, because the return strength damage, you're probably expecting to go late enough that the return damage is going to be a lot more useful than damage gain initially. And then when it comes to the double edge damage or the strength, effectively, you could go either. If you feel you need to be more tanky, you take strength. Otherwise, you definitely take double edge. At the same time, I think you're more likely to take double edge if you took the magic resistance and have built a hood, which typically you do on a centaur just because it's a great gain to stop yourself from punching yourself in the face too hard. Chaos Knight, some talent changes, plus 20 movement speed or 5 all stats. It's going to be 5 all stats all the time. Just because Chaos Knight has the pullback, the stun, he shouldn't really need movement speed that often, and stat gain is the best gain for illusion-based heroes. Plus 15 strength or 12% cooldown reduction. That's actually a more tough choice because, of course, having the Reality Rift and the stun available just a little bit sooner can make the difference. On top of that, your ult cooldown being reduced by 12% isn't something to turn your nose up at, but at the same time, having an extra 15 strength on each of those illusions when they come up is a big deal. Then you got the gold gain or Reality Rift piercing cell immunity. Typically, Chaos Knight doesn't really need that many items to be effective, so Reality Rift seems like a given if you're coming up against early BKBs. Otherwise, if you feel like you need to farm for the next 10, 20 minutes, definitely if you farm for the next 20 minutes, then the gold is worth it. Especially if you're going for the split push build where you just send your illusions all the time. Always take the gold in that scenario because you shouldn't be fighting, therefore spell immunity should be irrelevant. And then finally, at level 25, minus 7 Reality Rift armor reduction. Not bad. Or plus 2 max Chaos Bolt duration. Pretty freaking strong. I think most people will take the Reality Rift there just because reducing armor is always very effective, especially if you can get giant chunks of off. If you've got someone with Soul Crest as well, you'll pretty much be melting someone instantly. At the same time, while plus 2 to the max duration of a stun of Chaos Bolt is nice, how likely are you guaranteed that stun? This is kind of the thing about Chaos Knight and why some people were kind of iffy about picking him for the element of his stun and his right-click damage to start with. It's more about his illusions. Because if you go in for the stun logic, it's chancy. It's too chancy, right? The thing about Phantom Assassin is Phantom Assassin can give himself the go if they get a crit on the dagger. If they get the dagger crit, there's a good chance they're going to get a follow-up crit, and they're willing to take that chance because they also maybe have a BKB and they've got evasion, etc., etc. With Chaos Bolt, you walk in, if your Chaos Bolt comes out like 1 second, 2 seconds, you're dead. Well, not always, but there's a good chance. Chen! Big boy Chen has had some changes, and it's no surprise. Between the creep changes and the fact he doesn't get picked much himself, I mean, this is all targeted around bringing heroes like Chen back into the meta. Let's have a look. So attack range increased from 600 to 650. Wall buff. Remove Test of Faith teleport. Really? That's kind of surprising, actually. Holy Persuasion can be cast on allied units to send them home after up to 6-5 or free delay, and on yourself to teleport your creeps to you. Okay, fair enough. Holy Persuasion mana cost rescale from 100 to, wow, actually increasing it. Test of Faith can now target allies, healing for half of these damage values. Oh, I like that. I actually like that. Test of Faith is flexible now. It's a bit like your Abaddon, essentially. Abaddon, move across, okay? I mean, he's got the strong debuff, but that's about it. I'm not purged. Shut up. It's only been 2 hours. It's only been 2 hours. Shut up. You got nothing on me. You got nothing. We're up to C. It hasn't got long left. I'm halfway down the page. Alright. Test 5 can now target... Oh, we said that. And then the mana rescale, of course. And then you got XP gain or cast range. Armor. Test of Faith cooldown. Test of Faith cooldown is going to be pretty nice. Minus 10. It's going to allow you to turn into a really flexible healer. And then, of course, the creep. Min health. It's a nice addition. I don't think it's that crazy. But against 180 gold, you're probably going to take it. And of course, the Holy Persuasion max count is going to be huge here. Hand of God increase is nice, but just build a mech dummy. Get more Holy Persuasion conversions, and then just have crap tons of stuns and control. Lynx has his agility reduced. I'm not really surprised there. Death Pact HP reduced from 5079 to 4068. Not surprised. Damage reduced as well. Rework Strafe now gives you a plus 80, 140, 200, 260 attack speed for 3 seconds. That's wow. During this time, you will automatically dodge up to 3 projectiles, stepping to the side slightly upon impact. Strafe ends if you lose 3 stacks. Okay, interesting. I kind of saw this coming because Lynx is in a weird place where actually he pub stomps constantly. And in pubs, you don't care. It's about pro games, right? He didn't appear much, but at the same time, he can be quite strong. What they've done here, they've reworked Strafe to actually be a spike and kill instantly type skill, instead of the kind of consistently stand there for several seconds and being quite threatening. So I like that. And also the dodging of projectiles just kind of offsets the squishiness factor of Lynx, especially considering they made the reductions to the health that he has. Now you can get magic resistance or armor, evasion or searing arrows damage. I like the searing arrows damage gain. It's pretty handy. Evasion, I don't think 15% is going to make that much difference, especially if you've got strafe. You can just dodge the likely attacks and then get the hell out of dodge. Dodge. Then attack range or health regen. Kind of nice, actually. It means as a Clinks, you don't have to build some sort of regen item or just rely on Death Pact. Because Death Pact hasn't got any sort of cooldown reduction now. It's just the same as it was. The health could be viable, but also attack range is so damn nice. And then you level 25, the strafe, the stacks duration increase is really handy. Or Seer and Arrow's multi-shot. Okay. Basically, Clinks is now Drow. There we go. Is this hero list in alphabetical order? Let's see. Maybe Foxsword. Maybe. I'm trying to go quicker. Okay, should we just go past the logical things like Clockwork? Because we already made our point about how some of these just balanced out. If you guys really want me to go back in future and actually go over some of these, you can always ask. But like, yeah, stuff like this is predictable. Barrier Assault with Strength is fine. Match resistance on Rocket Flare damage. Probably going to use Rocket Flare to clear waves. And you got 0.3 second Barrier Assault interval or Rocket Flare True Sight. Oh, wow. Wow. That's actually really strong. That is really strong. Barrier Assault seems really nice, but late game scenarios, you hook shot in after you've hook shot, you probably you're not going to Barrier Assault them. You're going to cogs them away into an awkward place and then move on, because the thing is they've probably got PKB. So Rocket Flare given True Sight is a big deal. Really big deal. It's huge. Crystal Maiden. Health or cast range usually going to be the health. Mana cost reductions. Pretty handy versus the gold. Freezing field or attack speed. 250 attack speed on goddamn. Oh no, that's my favorite one. That is actually my favorite talent so far now. Plus 250 attack speed for Crystal Maiden. I'm building Carry Maiden, boys. We're doing it. It's just happening. Especially with a plus 1.5 second frostbite duration increase at level 25. Anyone who gets caught by me is going to die. Rapier is going to be my first core item. Oh my god. Actually, no, Midas then Rapier. Right, Darkseer, 12% evasion or 90 damage. I like that, actually. That kind of peaks in Darkseer's nice point in the game where he can actually have huge impact, just dragging someone in. Extra plus 90 damage per hit, that's actually a big deal. I think you take that over evasion every time. HP regen or vacuum AoE, probably the vacuum AoE. You're going to have items that get HP regen you anyway. 300 AoE, surge. Wow, or 50% cooldown. I think even with the cooldown reduction being as cool as it is, AoE surge might be better. If you need to get everyone out of dodge or get everyone in for a gank quickly, that can be really handy. It depends on the. I think it depends on your lineup how many blink daggers you got if you take the AoE surge or cooldown reduction. Then 25, you get parallel walls. Oh my god. Really? Double wall? Or 150 iron shell damage? Yeah. If you need a split pusher, just call his name. He'll be there in a hurry. There's no need to worry. Dazzle! Reworked Poison Touch. Targets a unit and releases a poison that splashes on nearby targets. Wow, like Ether Shock. Applies a DPS and a slow to target enemies. Anytime poison target gets attacked, debuff duration gets refreshed. Deals 10, 20, 30, 40 DPS and slows for 14, 16, 18, 20%. Lasts 4, 5, 6 seconds. Affects up to 4, 5, 6, 7 targets. Cooldown of 35, 30, 25, 20. Mana cost 80. Wow. Physical damage. This gets refreshed by the same target rules as Blink. This is insane. This is actually... this is good. I gotta say, this is actually the right thing to do, because Dazzle's been in a shitty place. Well, not... Yes, no. Telegrave is still good, as it ever was, right? And the change they made to his ultimate were great as well. The exchange was very interesting, helpful at times. Not that great, though, in my opinion. But reworking Poison Touch is what he needed. Poison Touch, it was always a choice to do. You either level Poison Touch, you level your heal. That wave. And what they've done with this is they've kind of actually given the relevance to at least putting a point in Poison Touch, because 10 damage per second being renewed constantly with 40% slow is a decent amount. So now Dazzle's a value point in Poison Touch is more viable than it ever was before. You don't mind how long it's taken the heroes I usually play around with all around V anyway. Oh dear. I do like DP getting plus 50 damage or 12% magic resistance. It's pretty even. Typically you go with magic resistance just because you want to be tanky so you can use your spirits the best. 150 cast range or plus 1% max health spirit siphon. That's actually a tough choice. I like that they've done that. Both are very strong for the same spell. 500 HP or minus 2 Crypt Swarm. Once again, good. Probably going to be health quite often. It depends how vulnerable you feel. And the 8 Exorcism Spirits or Exorcism grants haste. That is huge. That's absolutely huge. originally the choice wasn't very hard. It was always Exorcism Spirits. This makes it a tough choice now because haste is going to be very handy as well. Once again, it comes down to how vulnerable you are to dying. Disruptor, 200 HP or 40 Thunderstrike damage. That's a pretty nice buff. The problem is level 10 as a Thunderstrike. Like, you'll probably just take the 200 health because by the time you get to level 10, you're probably not feeling like the Thunderstrike's that worth it over the survivability factor. Cast range is nice, but the kinetic field seems nicer with minus 3 second cooldown. Then you get 180 gold or 4 Thunderstrike kits. If you want to go for the Thunderstrike build, you can do that 40 damage in the 4 Thunderstrikes, but 180 gold extra per minute is nothing to turn your nose up at. And then minus 10 second glimpse cooldown or 4 seconds kinetic field duration. Both very powerful as well. I feel like kinetic field is going to be more valuable because typically disruptors are picked into lineups that are about clustered team fights, so extra duration on fields allows you to split the enemy up. Doom, level 10, Scorched Earth, heal or movement speed. Always going to be Scorched Earth, in my opinion. That's a pretty obvious one. Then you got level 15 evasion or devour bonus gold. Probably going to be the devour bonus gold. At that stage, you really want more and more money, and that's a great way to go. Then you can go for the 40 Doom DPS or devour target ancients. I think you go for devour target ancients. Just forcing someone away the Doom is usually enough. But to be honest, if you're not chasing, right, here's the thing: if you're chasing the kill, you don't need the extra DPS usually. If you're not chasing the kill, then you're absolutely just accepting the likelihood that that target's going to get denied, and you're not going to get the kill. So you make that choice. And devouring target ancients can be very useful, of course. Some of the abilities you get, nice little nifty things. And then level 25, plus 3% infernal blade damage or 100% cleave. Wow. Doom carry at late game, guys. Doom carry. Doom can now deal with annoying, pesky illusion heroes like Phantom Lancer quite well, by the looks of it. I kind of like that, actually. That's an interesting flexibility factor for him. Dragon Knight, Breathe Fire now reduces total attack damage, not just base. That's a huge buff. Breathe Fire attack damage reduction reduced from 35% to 25% is still a big buff. Breathe Fire cast point increased from 0 to 0.2. Still fine with this. Increased range, definitely a buff. This is a big buff because the fact of what it's saying here is instead of just being base damage where you might screw over, you know, anyone the first level or two until they get 1 or 2 like items on them. Now you're actually screwing them over constantly, and this actually means that Breathe Fire is gonna scale better into the late game. And you get plus 2 mana regen, 30 attack speed, pretty standard. XP gain 40% is big, but health is as well. 2 times Dragon Blood HP regen armor or 150 gold. I think you just go for the armor there. It's pretty strong. And then you get plus 40 strength or the extra stun. Probably gonna go for the strength because the way that you work with the Dragon Knight is typically you're gonna be able to kill a person in the time you've got that Dragon Tail, especially if you've got an extra 40 strength. Alex is just jealous because he can't speak for this long. He goes all depressed after 5 minutes. Right. Drow. Added a visual effect on creeps when Precision Aura is cast. A little quality of life. Nothing big about level 10. Level 15 a bit bigger with the knockback distance on Gust being pretty powerful here. And I think you take that over the attack speed just because you've got loads of extra attack speed from the agility anyway. And it's kind of important to keep people at a distance from you. Really is, because as a Drow, your biggest weakness is someone getting on top of you. She's just not into that. She's more the dominant type, I guess. And then level 20, you get the 1.5 second gust duration. That's going to be a lot more pushing, or the plus 20 marksman agility. I think once you get level 20, the 20 marksman agility is kind of not as needed. The 1.5 seconds extra pushing someone around is huge. And at level 25, cooldown reduction of 50% or plus 20% of precision aura. Basically, that choice is going to be based on how many ranged heroes you have and how many of them are actually doing the right-click damage. Because 50% cooldown reduction is very substantial. I mean, just think of the control you can have with Hurricane Pikes. Think of the amount of Shadow Blade usage you could use. Dagon Drow. No, I'm kidding. Or am I? Roll the footage. I haven't got footage of that. Earth Spirit. Plus 10 int or 40 damage is actually a decent buff. That's going to allow him to be a lot more dominant in the mid game, not just the early game now. The raw ball of damage I quite like over the armor there. Plus 200 is quite a lot. Level 20 gold spell amp, not too big of a deal. And level 25 bolt smash stun duration 1 second. Keep in mind you can hit multiple heroes with that, so that can be quite powerful. But of course the big deal still the geomagnetic grip targets allies, which is what it used to do when it was OP and needed nerfing. So I think it's still going to be a case of usually. I don't know. I think if you're always on the retreat, obviously geomagnetic, but typically you don't want to feel like you're playing that way, so most people go for the smash stun. Okay, Earthshaker. Echo Slam initial damage removed. Wow. Echo Slam, Echo damage increased from 40, 60 at base, and so on, scales up. So basically, they just don't want you solo Echo Slamming to get 1 kill. They want you to actually use it logically. Echo Slam bounces twice off of non-illusion heroes. That's actually crazy. That means if you catch 2 heroes together, they're probably always going to die. At least in the early game. Level 10 banner or damage. Oh, I want more damage. Yeah, I'll take the damage there, thanks. Nah, both are good. Nothing big about level 15. Level 20 echo damage or fissure range. Fissure range 400. Okay, that's actually a big buff to the talent. So level 20. And of course, level 25, the enchant term cooldown or 50% magic. 50% magic resistance is huge. It's actually huge. So I kind of like what they've done with here with Earthshake. It feels more balanced and rounded tree for the most. I just feel like level 15 is underwhelming, really underwhelming. Even level 10 feels more impressive than level 15, and that should not be happening. I should not feel that way when I look at that. Elder Titan now wakes up. Target Echo Stomp targets now wake up. The target takes more than an accumulative amount of damage, so it's no longer based on time. Interesting choice. Technically, that means you can quickly stack the dots at the beginning and then go after them afterwards. Added visual effects for natural order. Wow, kind of look pretty. Level 10 is pretty crappy in my opinion for Elder Titan. It's going to be health. He's probably the closest one you can get to arguing for movement speed just because of the illusion getting it as well. Or spirit rather. Level 15 plus 30 astral spirit hero attack. Not bad. I kind of miss the absurdity of level 25. But not bad. And then level 20, do you want attack speed? 70 is pretty nice. Or 100 echo stomp damage. And then level 25, big deal here. 75-second Earth Splitter cooldown reduction. Or 100% lifesteal. 100%. Jesus Christ. I mean, they're trying to make Elder Titan relevant late game here. But the problem is, he still runs into this curb stomped himself in the face issue of how he be relevant in the early game. So I don't think that's relieved that issue at all. Ember Spirit. Flame Guard absorption is now at level 10. That's going to really help out a bit with the early magic builds. As you go up these levels, like Flame Guard DPS can be increased as well. Seer and Change duration, Spell Amp, and then or True Strike. Okay, interesting situational choice. It'll usually be Spell Amp though. Level 25, 2 sleight of fist charges or 25-second decrease on charge replenishment. Holy shit! Oh, it's truly Imba Spirit. 2 sleight of fist charges. Well, here comes my rapiers, and here comes a dead team. Jesus Christ. You need to wake up tomorrow. Alright, Eric, no problem, buddy. Morph's new ult. Okay, this should be good when I get to it. But, yeah, no, Ember... Balance in all things. Kind of, maybe. Night-night, Eric. I feel like... This isn't exactly... This is kind of like screaming what you expect, which is if you go for the magic build, when you get to later levels, it's going to be less effective. But that's what you should be having happen. If you're going for magic build Ember, you should be finishing much earlier. So I kind of like the reshift they've done there. Enchantress. Enchant now removes positive buffs on enemy heroes. Wow. Does that mean Shallow Grave can be removed by Enchantress? How do they classify Shallow Grave? How do they... Well, why am I doing that? I should just put Dazzling. How do they classify Shallow Grave? Because it's technically, it's a buff. Target unit. Okay, Shallow Grave undispellable. Okay, so theoretically that shouldn't be able to be pulled off at all. I'm gonna say, otherwise that would just be insane. Pure counter right there. Right, level 10, no big deal. The wisps or damage, pretty much stand choice there. Enchant affects ancients or untouchable. Just a choice between if you want to be control freak or attack damage. Enigma just reworking on the talents. We got any big ones? Cooldown reduction plus 15%. Be minus 15%. That's decent. 4 health is always going to be helpful for him because he can struggle at times, and or Eidolon damage if you're going to go with the Eidolon build, of course. Faceless. I feel like with Enigma, there's no real big change there. Enigma will be picked because it's Enigma. There's nothing that's going to change that. Void. Oh boy, I heard something about this, but I never checked what it was. Let's see. Strength damage, pretty standard. Time lock damage or health. That's a lot of extra time lock damage. Plus 100, especially in the late game. You're going to melt people insanely quick. Plus 500 Time Walk cast range or attack speed. Time Walk's pretty good there. I mean, attack speed is nice, but Time Walk, the difference between getting so deep in the fight or so deep out. The big one, 25% backtrack. Backtrack's back, boys. Backtrack has returned, and I want to gouge my eyes out, and I want to basically pretend to roleplay as Faceless Void because I'll have no eyes. What in the name are we thinking? Or plus 175 Chronospheres AoE, and that seems nice. And you know what? For the average player, they will choose Backtrack. For the professional player, they'll pick the Chronosphere AoE, because as nice as it is the idea that I dodge the Laguna Blade, it's still a 25% chance. And you don't gamble on chances that often over an extra 175 Chronosphere AoE, which can just basically turn a 2-man Chrono into a 4-man. I still do think that everyone's going to be annoyed all hell with the Backtrack, and I can't blame them. I'm pretty sure we're going to see a lot of Faceless Voids just getting Midas for the first few weeks in pub games, simply because they want to try it out. Maybe they just start playing after they made the change to Void, but I feel the biggest change to Void here that matters isn't a level 25 change, it's a level 15. Because that 100 extra time lock damage is going to be huge. If I can catch both teams, I'm helping. Hey, don't forget that refresher orb that Void's going to pick up off the third Roche. Okay, Gyrocopter. Remove Homing Missile cast point. Nice little buff there, actually. Homing Missile will find a new target if its primary target dies. Yes! I feel like I was going to go, Descendewa, Mala baby scabawa. No, there we go. Homing Missile speed increased from 340 to 500. What? Launch delay increased from 2 to 3 seconds. Who cares? It's going 500 now. Speed of freaking light. Honestly, I just want to just freaking latch onto the thing. I'll move around the map faster than I'll ever will normally. Homing Missile now does a fixed amount of damage. Rescale from max of 125, 250, 375, 500 to 100, 175. That's not a surprise considering it moves so much bloody quicker. Homing Missile hits to destroy from 345 to 3344. Home Missile is better, boys. Home Missile can be leveled now. I can go in my pup games, and when I'm leveling Home Missile, I can't be called a noob because I didn't level Flat Cannon. That's what's going to happen here. I like this. There's flexibility, and this means that preemptively going Home Missile and then going to the fight and killing the target isn't a let's back off, we've got no additional stun. The stun just chose a new target. Damage or health? I think you still go... they've made that a lot tougher of a choice, but I think you still go health just because damage is nice if you get an Ags build, but health is good all around. Then you got the 3 flat cannon attacks or 11 rocket barrage damage. Are you a support or are you a carry? Typically, towards level 15, you're thinking about trying to become a right clicker anyway, so flat cannon. Plus 15 movement speed or minus 25% second cooldown. Both batch pretty strong. 50 movement speed on Gyro is really hefty, but I still think you go cooldown. Then global cooldown on 3 home missiles. They've actually made this a hard choice now. They've actually made level 25 a hard choice. Global cooldown is going to be useful because you can be split push and actually still assist your team, but 3 home missiles is still incredibly powerful. Depends how many BKBs you expect the enemy team to build, though. Huskar, has Huskar become relevant? I don't think he has, considering that new item we were just talking about. Damage or health? 15% lifesteal or plus 10 bonus spears, pretty much same. Plus 15 strength or 400 life break cast range. I feel like at this rate, the only way I'm going to play Huskar is if I want to do the cheesy Ags one-hit build with a Pugna, and that's about it. And then plus 125 attack range or 0 inner vitality cooldown. As I said, with the new item, you get that inner vitality cooldown, you're instantly just going to see yourself permanently being unable to heal that much because of that wonderful upgrade urn. Invoker, Chaos Meter, Tornado, nothing big that. Whole Snap duration or Forge Spirit, actually a tough choice now for once, but you probably still go the Forge Spirit. Alacrity, damage, speed, or Cataclysm. It's launched when Sunstrike is double tapped. What? Puts it on a 90-second cooldown. Creates 2 visible Sunstrikes within 175-250 range of each enemy hero. You ever feel like you looked at Invoker and you went, this guy needs more global presence? That's literally what they've just done. He has more global presence, guys. I don't know why, but he has more global presence. And then 90 seconds isn't actually that bad when you think about Zeus ult. I mean, sure, you're not always going to hit everyone because they might be moving, but 90-second cooldown, sun striking everyone. I'm just going to say that's fucked up. Oh, God. I'm looking forward to the big team fight combos and Invoker using that after Naga songed everyone, and then the song just being brought down exactly as the Sunstrikes hit, and everyone panicking, running, and dying. Jesus. And then, of course, AoE Deafening Blast or 16-second Tornado cooldown. Relocate cooldown increased. Wow, okay. That's surprising. 20 seconds at each level. Max Spirits range reduced from 875 to 700. I don't know. I feel like I was fine where he is. He's a pocket pick. I don't think you need changes. Let's see what's Tether Grant Scepter bonus. Okay. And 90 spirits damage. Attack tethered allies target. Wait, what? Automatically attacks every time your ally attacks. Okay, plus 60 damage into that then, boys. Wait, what? I think the Tether Grant Scepter bonus. That's saying you grant the Scepter bonus to whatever the other guy's getting. I don't know. 50 HP regen at level 25 or Tether stuns. Wow. These changes are actually great for Io, despite the initial relocate cooldown stuff. Jakiro, dual breath cast points, Macropire cast points just changed to be quicker. Just rush through this. 250 attack range is actually pretty big for Jakiro, so now he can burn out towers without risking himself at all. And then the Liquid Fire attack speed minus 60 extra is pretty hefty, but so it's a gold. And then of course you've got that choice between the Ice Path or the Macropire being pure, which are both very good. Depends on the scenario you're working towards. Juggernaut. Juggernaut is no longer silenced while using Blade Fury. Oh my god. He cannot cast Omni Slash, but he can cast Ward. Wow. Not sure that was needed. See, Blade Fury duration can be increased, and then Blade Fury DPS, that typical one, you get the attack speed, which most people will. And you get 600 HP or plus 5 Omni Slash strikes at level 25. I feel like at that stage, the Omni Slash strikes are better than the HP, just because at that stage, honestly, the ability to remove some of the fight while being at full health is better than having 600 extra HP for everyone to smack you around the face with. Mana cast range reduced. Yeah, that's understandable, considering Mana Leak's one of the most annoying early game spells. Then level 10, spell Lifesteal. Spell Lifesteal level 10, not bad. 40% XP gain at level 15 is pretty damn good. Then of course you get the Chakra Magical Magic Resistance, and Mana Leak stun plus 2 seconds is pretty strong. But most people will go for Illuminate because they'll build Ags. Once again, doesn't change Keeper Light too much. Kunkka is no longer restricted from using Quelling Blade. Away. In fairness, it's not the biggest buff, but it's still a buff. For those that don't know, Kunkka had Quelling Blade cock blocked on him because he could hit a creep. That damage be calculated on heroes with Tidebringer. They've just allowed that again. Now, this is fine because the change they made to Quelling Blade. Quelling Blade used to be more annoying because it was percentage based. Now it's, fixed numbers, so it's actually a bit more balanced. But that's still going to be really useful. And actually allows Kunkka to, as a core, take control of his lane much easier. Especially with 40 damage at level 10. That's a lot. They did give him less health regen, because I think it's level 20 originally. He got like 20 or 25. Now they brought it down to 10 or torrent damage increase. Then he gets 25 strength at level 20 or 100 torrent AoE, and then Ghost Ship. Oh my god. 50% Tidebringer Cleave, huge. Or Ghost Ship Fleet. Do I even... What the fuck is a Ghost Ship Fleet? It's a Ghost Ship Fleet. What the fuck is a Ghost Ship? Okay, now I need to see. I need to see. I can't go on not knowing. I need to see. I have to know. Wait, what? What the fuck? How day? I haven't even tried anything yet. Fleet. What is a fleet? Fleet equal 4 boats going the same direction to the same area. It's OP as hell. What, are they staggered or all at once? Oh, what am I kidding? You're either killing them faster or stunning them instantly and constantly. Jesus Christ. That's insane. That's actually insane. Alright, let's continue. We'll go and check on in a second. That one sounds amazing. Legion, 25% XP gains really good to get level 10. Especially if you're Jungle Legion. Curse your soul. Plus 50 overwhelming odds, hero damage, pretty strong actually. And then you got the 10% momentum proc chance. Not the biggest deal. Probably in that scenario I'd tell you to take movement speed. And then 40 dual damage will press the attack cooldown down 10 seconds. Slightly staggered. The second one hits another flies. Oh my god, the bow is OP. I'm talking about Kunkka, not the Legion. The bow is OP, guys. Oh my god. Kunkka's going to get picked a lot already because of the torrent creep stacking. This is just going to be over the top. Alright, Leshrac. Anything big? No. Leshrac's pretty much just still irrelevant. Chain Frost is now reflected on initial projectile impact rather than on cast time. Interesting. That's important as well, in my opinion, because you can shoot, then move away, so you can actually harass Lich back without being screwed. The slow's been rescaled. Yeah, that's right. Get nerfed, Lich. Get nerfed. You're lucky it's that small of a bloody nerf. Oh, 120 damage. That doesn't sound right. And attack supply. Yeah, nothing too big here. Oh, no. Ice armor. That's big. Level 25. Armor provides plus 30 HP regen. That's pretty powerful. That is actually really powerful. I believe I think he already had the slow, or he had something similar at some point. But the ice armor providing 30 HP regen, really powerful. Really not needed, but really powerful. I feel in their mind where Ice Frog's going with this is he's saying, okay, the hero's gonna get picked less because actually I've taken the creep out of the mid lane, so his relevance in the game is not where it was, which is completely starving the mid lane easily. Life Stealer plus 2% feast, or 2 seconds rage. Open wound heals plus 50%. That's actually a big deal because if you remember, open wounds heals magic damage as well. So if you hit someone with a Laguna Blade, I hope you like getting health back. Speaking of Laguna, what's Lena got? Lena's got Lightning Strike Array, increase your health. Pretty nice balanced choice between the two. And then you got the Fiery Soul stack or Spell Amp. Pretty nice choice again. Attack range with Dragon Slave cooldown. Reasonable. And then of course Lion. Cast range with attack damage. Too bad. Even one's viable at that stage as well. Cast range will be useful more in the long run because typically you blink in. So I wouldn't really advise going damage. I'd advise range just because as you get up in levels, you get your hands on Blink Dagger. You go in, you stun, you move back. That's how it works. 200 Finger of death damage with 90 gold. Well, we already know. Most people go with that one. Plus 2 mana and drain multi-tug. Oh my fucking god. Why? Why? Please tell me you can choose the targets. It's like click, click, click. That'd be insane. Like, and remember, guys, remember what I was saying about that item? That item that lets you get an increased, like gives plus 10 spell amp and plus 10 to the sort of like mana drains. Yep. You're going to build it now. You're going to freaking build it. And 1,000 spike range or 325 AoE hit. Oh my god, he's pure 8. Lion's pure 8. Oh, late game Lion. Because you know, Earth Spike range never misses it is, so it's just going to be AoE. I don't remember the last time an Earth Spike missed. Okay, Lone Druid Battle Cry cooldown reduced from 60 to 45, and duration 6 to 5. That's pretty reasonable. And then Lone Druid, 175 attack range or 250 health. So basically, we're going to continue to see right-click Lone Druid instead of Bear. Savage Roar or Bear Armor, Savage Roar every time. Grab attack speed or Battle Cry, attack speed please. Then Entangle cooldown 0 or Battle Cry grants yep, Battle Cry, boys. Lone Druid's back. Well, he never left. He's just staying around in the same form, which is going to be that goddamn annoying right-clicking old man. Right. I'm not seeing anything big with Luna. Yeah, nothing too big. Actually, no. Clips Lucent mini stuns is kind of nice. Jesus. For the most, it's fine though. Fixed break, not disabling Feral Impulse. Yeah, like not so powerful now, huh? Feral HP regen's been brought down to just be 8 now. Balance, boys. But then you have to choose that or cooldown. Oh man, they've nerfed Lycan here. They really have. Actually, no, they've tried to offset it because they've given plus 8. So basically, you can get the same sort of thing you got before with Shapeshift. You just have to commit 2 talents to it. And sacrifice Feral Impulse damage. 600 Howl Hero Health. Holy crap. Or create an army. Huh. Kind of a reasonable choice at level 25 for Lycan. But I feel like most people could just go for Howl. Shockwave Scepter speed increased from 1575 to 1700. Nice. Other than that, Magnus Skewer range plus 500 is pretty damn good. There's nothing else that really screams out, oh my god. Plus 20% in powers balance, that's reasonable at level 25. Stone Gaze. Stone Gaze slow no longer continues to affect targets after they turn away from Medusa. Yes! Yes! Screw you, Medusa. Become even more irrelevant. Stone Gaze can now be reapplied after it wears off. The target continues to face Medusa. Crap. Split Shot is now passive. Really? Split Shot projectiles scale from 1, 2, 3, 4 to 3. Split Shot rescale from minus 20% damage to minus 65, 50, 35, 20. Yeah. But Split Shot is now passive. Please tell me the primary. Oh, there you go. No longer reduces damage to the primary. I was about to say, but the thing is, you're not going to level projectile now. And the reason you're not going to do it, guys, because when you're in a lane, it's the same reason that they had to introduce the Wraith King toggling of lifesteal. You don't want to push the wave. I think that's a big mistake. Split shot range now uses your attack range plus 100 rather than a fixed 700. That's kind of intriguing. And split shot does not require when attacking allied units. Wouldn't want to kill everyone on your own team. Or would you? 10 Mystic Mana still? No. Stone Gaze duration. This isn't the stun duration. It's just the amount of time you're screaming. Or plus 800 mana. And then plus 7 split shot targets or split shot users modifiers. Probably going to get modifier there every time, I reckon. Meepo! Lifesteal, movement, strength, poof. Nothing too big here. Minus 4 seconds poof damage is probably the biggest thing. But you're probably going to take 700 HP over that level 25. And level 25 is not going to matter too much. Mirana reworked Leap has 3 charges. Leap's a distance of 550 per charge. Grants you movement and attack speed for 2 seconds. That's actually a really interesting change. I kind of like it as well. Gives a lot of mobility in the early mid game to Mirana. Yeah, no, I'm fine with that. I'm absolutely fine with that. Your boy Meepo's back in the game. Doubt it, man. Level 25 to get that shit. By the time he gets level 25 for that stuff, look what Mirana's getting. Plus 2 more shot arrows still. Or minus 70 Moonlight Shadow cooldown, which is huge. Oh, she also gets Mana Break at level 20 if she wants. Who needs a Diffusal anymore? I've got it built in. And level 15 is the arrow cooldown or leap attack speed. Ooh. Now, I don't think the attack speed is going to be taken just because 2 seconds too short of a time when you can see you also got to move yourself a distance. If Leap became a targeted spell, then the Leap's attack speed would be good. But they're not going to make that change. Monkey King, how would you like to have less damage? Well, you got it. Jingu bonus damage has been rescaled from 75, 100, 125, 150 to 60, 90, 120, and 150. Basically, you end up in the same place. You just have to take longer to get there. Monkey King no longer destroys trees he is standing on during Scepter Stampede. Understandable. Now he gets Tree Dance, Vision AoE or attack speed, Tree Dance, cast range or Jingu Mastery damage, Boundless Strike damage or Primal Spring damage, and armor for Wukong's command. Wow. Or Wukong plus Wukong command ring. What? So wait, you can have 2 rings for Wukong's command. That's insane. At the same time, plus 1 on armor is actually huge because one of the biggest issues with Monkey King is I have to Shadow Blade my own freaking ult. But overall nerf to Monkey King and actually needed one. The hero is too effective. He pretty much shuts down any sort of laner you can think of that is melee. And even some range ones, such as Templar Assassin, Luna sometimes. Morphling's been reworked. Reduced base intelligence from 17 to 13. Oh, the circle gets even bigger with Monkey Kings. Okay. It says plus 1. Doesn't really explain anything. That should be a radius. Anyway. Morphling, what's happened? Renamed Morph to Attribute Shift. Attribute Shift rate rescaled from 2-4, blah, 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 blah. Basically, you're going to start off slowly. More slow. But actually get a lot quicker. Really quickly. Attribute Shift now costs no mana. Adaptive Strike is now two abilities. One that deals damage based on agility, and one that stuns and knocks back based on strength. When one's cast, the other goes into cooldown for 3 seconds. Adaptive Strike, stun duration rescale from 1.25 up to 4.25, from 1.5 up to 3. That's what we call balancing, because he was not. Adaptive Strike, knockback, increase from max 300 to 500. It's a bit more useful, actually. Balance the skills out between each other now. Maroon Morphling Scepter. Replace Replicate with a new ultimate Morph. Change your hero to match the target enemy. Oh god. Copies the target's visual model, basic abilities, base movement speed, attack range, and attributes. Applies a soft dispel on transformation. If you die during this, Morphling dies. You can exit the Morph form anytime. Lasts 30 seconds. Oh god. It's like, you know when you think about the way that Icefall creates some heroes, you just kind of imagine that in this case, he pushed Arc Warden and Morphling into the basement and said, don't come out until you create me a child. And then when Morphling wasn't looked, he basically just sucked him up with a straw and replaced him with this new one. That's how it feels. Morph targets allies. Oh my god, no! Oh god. Don't worry, it's not as OP as you think. Because remember this, you only get basic abilities, but it's still pretty ridiculous. Imagine if you quickly morphed as a lion, you went in, with your line first because he blinks in, he stuns. You walk over, you stun them as well. You do with your combo, you freaking hex them, then you come out and say, surprise! Alternatively, what about 2 axes? You ever thought about 2 axes? Suddenly, Blink Morphling is actually a good bloody build. Do you want to know why, guys? Because you can still use Call and you can still get counter helix. Just take a moment to think about that. 2 axes. 2. Jesus. And the list goes on. The list goes on. There's even more ridiculous ones. I mean, can you imagine 2 Ursus? I'm pretty sure they share the Fury Swipe charges. So if 2 of them are hitting you, how quickly do you die? And yeah, Penguin's right as well. Terrorblade. How about Terrorblade's 3rd skill? Would you like to metamorph? Yeah, well, sure, why not? Earthshaker? Earthshaker's just as ridiculous. How about more fissures? Naga, nothing too big here. Pretty meh. Nature's Prophet. They've actually made it more viable to take the trees now. They've actually made it more viable. And then the Sprout cooldown. That's actually pretty nice versus attack speed. If you want to control more. Remember, guys, you might be playing up against Artesian. If you are, Sprout is the strongest skill in the game. And level 25, I still keep my teleportation cooldown. Yes! No, 2-time treant's not enough. Give me 3 times, so I might actually take it over unlimited teleports. Alright, Ghost Shroud slow reduced. Ghost Shroud bonus damage on the cross. Bonus magic damage taken increased. Yep. Heartstopper aura range reduced. Heartstopper aura rescaled. So it does less now, but more later on. Reaper's Scythe cooldown increased from 100 to 120. Yep. Reaper's Scythe mana cost is up. Yep. Well, that stays the same at the latest point. And, wait, no. Yeah, it's up. And then anything here worth what? Plus 0.6 Heartstopper or a 1.5 second decrease on Death Pulse. That's a balanced choice. An attack speed or magic resistance. Do you want to be my right click? Maybe. Yeah, Morph is definitely going to be picked a lot. He's got so much synergy now, he's probably going to be the #1 pick. Daytime Vision, well, not #1 pick, because those supports will be, but as a core, like amongst cores, he'll be one of the top picks, no doubt. Daytime Vision reduced for Night Stalker to 800. Looks like someone didn't put on their shades, asshole. Plus 140 Hunter in the night attack speed. Don't mind if I do. Oh, Crippling Fear, minus 8 seconds cooldown. That's going to be fun. It'll be fun. I was going to take damage there. Yeah, nothing more. Nick, Spike Carapace damage return mechanic now works like Blade Mail. Still returns only once per enemy. Does not stun the spell immune. Which makes sense. But yeah, okay. I kind of saw that balance coming around. To switch up a Blade to be like Blade Mail. Is a bit stronger in its current state. They did change it for the Spike Carapace damage increase from 25 to 20 on the talent list and made it 75% instead of 100. But now you get plus 100 agility. And Vendetta, oh my god, what the... I feel like all the heroes you guys have been mentioning to me, and the one you forgot to mention is what happens to Nyx at level 25. How about I take Vendetta and nothing gets in my way? Nothing. Oh, are they doing Roche? Let me just peer over the cliff. Wow. I can't believe you guys didn't mention that one. That is insanely powerful. Alright, Ogre Magi. Anything? Not really. 90 movement speed, level 25. Oh my god, no. Just no. Guardian Angel cast point reduced from 0.5 to 0.4 on Omni Knight. What else we got? Minus 12% degen aura or plus 6 mana regen. That's a balanced choice. At that stage, you might even take the mana regen if you're still feeling a bit not getting enough spells out. But I mean, 12% degen aura at level 20 doesn't feel like great unless you'll carry Omni Knight. But you can with that plus 90 damage. There you go. And then Repel or Purification. Good choices. Okay, Oracle. False Promise Invisibility. Or Movement Speed at level 20 is going to be the big thing there. And then False Promise Duration or Fate's Edict, which are both pretty strong. And now I'll Devour get level 15. You'll have Midas, so we'll get that pretty quickly. We'll really love to have that Essence Aura chance. Remember that affects your team as well, so that's actually going to be pretty strong. Then on top of that, plus 2 Sanity Eclipse multiplier. Woo-hoo. And plus 60 second Arcane Int Steal or Spell Lifesteal. Hard choice. Arguable whether you'd want the extra 60 seconds and if it would be that relevant. If you already killed the whole team, you're not going to benefit too much from that for split pushing because our Devour doesn't really specialize in taking like buildings. PA can get 20% cleave at level 15 now. It's too bad. Double strike, stifling daggers, or 20% lifesteal, balance choice again, and then coup de grace plus 5% or 25% blur evasion. You're always going to take coup de grace there. Better to be more aggressive than go in trying to be aggressive and hope that you dodge more shit. Plus, coup de grace can't easily be countered, blur can. Alright, Phantom Lancer, Phantom Rush can now be toggled to disable it. I'm liking it. Doppelganger now adds 2-second duration to all your illusions. I like it. Actually allows you to keep the army up a little bit. Okay, 10% evasion. No, what we've got? +4 max juxtaposed illusions, pretty strong. Or rush range is going to be juxtaposed most times. And then -5-second doppelganger cooldown or 30% critical strike. You'll still take doppelganger. You'll still take doppelganger because you, as strong as you are as a PL, every stage you're worried about being jumped. And doppelganger does 2 things for you. It gives you the ability to get out of an awkward scenario. And 2, because you're refreshing your illusions now for an extra 2 seconds, it allows you to use them to elusively sneak away or turn around on top of someone. Phoenix, the Spirit DPS is nice at level 15. Icarus dive range plus 1400 is huge. Especially if you want to do the, if you want to go for the supernova hit and just go into some sort of, you know, save your build with Ags. That could be really strong. But Dreamcore no longer deals damage on cast. Dreamcore line break damage has been increased to make sense. So basically all the damage is still done, but they have to break first. And it actually does more damage. That's plus 200, plus 250, and plus 300 damage if you break now. So what it did do. And nothing too big here. 40% illusory speed or waning rift cooldown. That's actually the fatal choice they should have made, and I like they've made that change because as a park you should really be choosing between whether you want better like cooldown for your silence or move further with the orb. And then 420 gold, Jesus. Or Dreamcore rapid fire attacks everyone once per 0.6 seconds within attack range. Okay, that's actually really strong. And that actually gives a really hard choice. That's a lot of gold game, but that's actually Dreamcore rapid fire sounds really strong as well. Pudge. Meat Hook can pull runes back to you. Oh my god. Oh my god. Pudge just became 10 times funner. Pudge is 10 times funner, guys. I can hook runes. Dismember now pulls the target closer to Pudge. Okay, yeah, that makes it look less stupid. And actually is strong with Aether Lens. Because you're essentially repositioning a person still. And what else we got here? Rot damage, pretty nice. 13% life steal or 75 damage. Pretty handy when you're rotting yourself. Cooldown reduction with gold, pretty nice again. And the heap stacks or dismember duration. Nicely balanced out talent tree for Pudge. Life drain range reduced, makes sense because Pugner is all over the place at the moment. Decrepify can now target Tombstone. That's actually pretty handy. That's going to help to make Undying a bit more useful. And his skills are relatively balanced all around now. Queen of Pain, just a rebalance on the talents as well, looks pretty good. Plus 650 AoE Shadow Strike or 30% spell lifesteal. Still usually be lifesteal in my opinion. And then Scream Pain minus is 1.5 seconds of fear or 20 seconds of spell block. That's an interesting choice between the two. I assume that spell block is an activatable. Not too bad all around. Razor, base movement speed reduced by 5. Oh, come on. Reworked Unstable Current. Passive movement bonus like before, but every 5 seconds a random enemy within 350 AoE will be shocked, taking a big chunk of damage and getting purged. Wow. Wow. Okay. Razor just became a lot more scary, especially if anything melee. Good luck if you are a melee against this. Then level 15, get extra unstable current movement speed or get static link steal. Then you go into the level 20, which is Ice Storm, strike intervals or armor, and then level 25, minus 3 seconds unstable current interval or attack speed. Of course, you take the unstable current because, as we just said, that's ridiculous. Ricky, base movement reduced by 5. Enemy units in smoke screen have no vision. Oh, I like that. I actually really like that. Please tell me the player has no vision even if his team is near it, because that's even better. That's there was a hero in Heroes of New Earth that done that basically made it so you all couldn't see your other teammates. If they'd done something like that, it'd be amazing. Backstab damage can now be used in procs like critical strike. Basically, he's getting the lifesteal treatment. Maybe Ricky Cowrie come back. Backstab damage reduced. Understandable considering you just gave them critical strike cleave, all that's effect. Now level 10 gives plus 5 health regen, which is nice. Now let them be a bit active on the movement. And it's probably better than just getting plus 8 agility anyway. 20% 1.5 crit or smoke screen. So once again, do you want to be a right click or do you want to be support? When you get level 25, what we've got here, tricks of trade AoE or cloak and dagger doesn't reveal. No action to take you out of invisibility. You can still be... Okay. So what we're seeing here is Ricky returned to his place as a true pub stomper as no one buys detection and he's never revealed while killing you. And you're walking along the whole time going, why am I dying? Oh, God. In pro games, yeah, Ricky will still be pretty unpicked. Rubik, Nullfield can now be toggled between defensive and offensive forms. Has a 30-second cooldown once toggled. Defensive form reduces enemy magic resistance. That's actually big. That actually gives you use to it. Because Nullfield's been pretty useless throughout all these patches. They finally did something with it, and I'm proud of that. Rubik could be getting picked more. And then you've got the hero attack cast range, pretty nice. Telekinesis cooldown down 15 seconds is huge, or plus 75% spell amp for stolen spells. Oh, good. I'm just going to take this Zeus's ult and kill his team with it, because he only half killed my team. That's how that translates. That's actually pretty strong, though. I love the buffs to Rubik. Overall needed because he wasn't actually being picked much for a hero that's so flexible with his ultimate, being able to steal well spells. So, yeah, I like that change. Sand King, HP regen, or Sandstorm slow and blind. Yes, Sandstorm was now useful in the late game other than evading for like 0.5 seconds. Level 20, you can get percent pulses. If you get the percent attack slow, it's worth doing, but better whether you do or not. Especially if you've got Sandstorm DPS, maybe go for the Sandstorm slow. Depends what you're up against. If you're up against something like Slardar, it's pointless because you're just going to get stunned. Shadow Demon. The Demonic Purge now works on Cyclone units. Yeah, that seemed like an interaction that should have existed already, so good to see they've done that. Soul Catcher no longer splits its effects, it only affects one unit in the area. Okay. Shadow Poison radius increased from 190 to 200. Just some small buffs. I don't feel Shadow Demon really needed much more in the way of buffs, but this should be just about enough. When an enemy dies under Soul Catcher, an illusion of them is created under your control, lasts until they respawn or it is killed. Nice. Nice. Kind of the snowball factor. Similar to like, Underlord. Someone dying the Underlord. Nothing too big here. Disruption banish duration plus 5 seconds is actually pretty strong though. And the Demonic Purge plus 500 damage is hell crazy. Shadow Fiend. Raise damage reduced. Surprising, considering Shadow Fiend hasn't been picked much. Shadow Raise now has a stack counter for each time an enemy gets hit. Oh shit, we a skill game now, boys. Cause the enemy to take 60 more damage per stack. Last 8 seconds gets refreshed on stack gain. Okay, I get where they're coming from. So, if you're hitting all your Shadow Raises, you can still easily get a kill. That's nice. And then plus 3 damage per soul. Was it plus 2 before? I think they buffed it up. Or 40% cooldown reduction. Both of these are really good. That's a hard choice. That's a really hard choice because obviously things like BKB are going to be really needed in those later fights. And your presence aura affects buildings. Yep. Looks like we're going to have very strong early pushing Shadow Fiend. Shaman. And I'm just going to say that's actually a big deal because Shadow Fiend hasn't been being picked that much, which is weird because he actually spikes really well into the mid game. I think what they've done with these changes doesn't actually address his core issue, just how squishy he is and how easy he is once you've got a stun or two. And with how many magic-based heroes with stuns you have in the current meta, I don't think Shadow Fiend's pick rate's really going to fly up yet. Not until you make changes to certain heroes like Shadow Shaman and Clockwork that makes them less relevant. And nothing too big on the change from Shaman. The Ether Shock is pretty nice, but that's level 25. Glaives of Wisdom damage from 35, 50, 65, 80 to 15, 30, 45, 60. No surprise there. Carry stance can be ridiculous, especially with the Ags change. But he does get a plus 2 int steal at 15, which is going to be insane. At that stage in the game, if you're a core, it still matters. If you're a support and you've just reached 15, they probably don't care too much about the missing int. And yeah, plus 2 global silence is pretty strong also. Or you can get the Glaives Wisdom and bring it up to its original self. So you'll be forced to make the choice between whether you want to commit to being a carry or if you want to commit to being a support. Skywrath, please tell me you got something good for him. Plus 1 Arcane Bolt. That's good. That's actually really good. That's actually really strong. Especially like that gives some relevance to maybe playing a core mage and then rotating a support into a core in your place a bit later as you take the ganking. Global Concussive Shot. What? Global. And the nearest target is that guy on the other side of the map because they're pushing our tower. Go, go, go. 2 minutes later. Then you get plus 600 Mystic Flare damage with 300 gold. Probably Mystic Flare at that stage, level 25. Guardian Sprint move. at 700 speed along the river. Okay, I kind of like that. I actually like that. Specific area of the map interactions, 700 movement speed in the river at max level. I hope it scales a bit higher than 500 in the river if you're not level 4 on the sprint. That is actually pretty cool. And gives you an easy way to just get control of the runes as well. Plus 100 bash damage. Yep, we're bringing bashes, boys. You can get 50 attack speed or night vision plus 1000. Nice. And then level 25 plus 50% bash chance. As we know, that's a lot higher, you know, logically and statistically. Or corrosive haze undispellable. Both strong. Slark fixed the bug with pounce where you could sometimes force yourself out if you were not moving on pounce impact. Huh, okay. And now you can get pounce leash increased for 3 seconds, which isn't too bad. And just similar to what we were saying about Outward Devourer, about that extra time with your stolen stats. It's debatable whether it's worthwhile. 1 extra second of Shadow Dance isn't too bad. I don't think it's going to make much difference, so maybe you go for the Essence Shift there. Sniper, cooldown reduction, 12% at level 10, which is pretty decent. Then you get a shrapnel DPS or attack speed. Got anything else here? Plus 35 knockback distance for headshots. Okay. The only problem is, and I think this is maybe something I haven't thought about, is I don't think you're going to take that too often. Mainly because what you got to remember is more often than not, the enemies run away from you in these scenarios where you're sniping them out like that. So your team should be able to be guarding you, and you'll just chase down enemies. You don't want to knock them further away. You really don't want to knock them further away. Oh, plus 6 shrapnel charges. Watch for next patch where we actually go back to hitting towers and doing damage. Desolate now applies a debuff that reduces the unit's vision. I like that too. That's actually pretty good. Unexpected ganks coming in from the sides afterwards, right? And health regen at level 10 is actually pretty handy for Spectre. Just 5 is actually a really nice amount. And then 8% dispersion at level 25, which you can expect to reach in the Spectre game usually, is absurdly strong, especially with the plus 500 health. Alright, Charge of Darkness no longer goes into cooldown when you die. Not really the biggest deal. Spirit Breaker base HP reduced by regen reduced by 1. Really? Well, okay. Greater bash damage rescale from 22 up to 46 to 12 to up to 48. So it's a bit high at the end, but it's weaker at the start. Understandable. 1 or 2 bashes was practically all you ever needed to always get a kill with in the early game. And then plus 30% great, plus 25% greater bash chance. There it is. Yeah, they've actually made it a bit of a dilemma as to whether you get that or the 800 HP. Because that's 8 plus 800 health. I think that's the biggest amount anyone gets. That's quite a lot. Storm Spirit. Storm Spirit. Plus 2 mana regen. You kind of he needs that. You can't take that away from him. Static Remnant health is a pretty nice choice. Electro Vortex duration or attack speed is good as well. Then Overload pierces immunity or Auto Remnant per 500 Ball Lightning. I don't care about the Ball Lightning. Like I don't think that's worth doing because you can't easily control that distance per 500 all the time. You're better off getting the Overload piercing immunity because that extra damage and the fact it's going to slow is really useful against BKB users. Sven, 2 mana regen is actually going to be a big deal for him. And then when you the big one, level 25 plus 40 strength, God strength, or the 8 Stormhammer. Pretty much how it was, and good that it is actually. Stormhammer dispels enemies. That's actually really handy. Alright, what else we got? Techies, proximity mines. Wait, so what? Okay, big thing here. Level 20 on Sven. If I was to throw out Stormhammer and then a target gets repelled, does it dispel? There we go. That's something to test as well. Loads of things to test, actually. God, I need someone else to test that one with, though. Alright, Templar Assassin. Sonic Traps now deal damage when fully charged. Wow, okay. Dealt with the duration of the debuff rather than... I think they still do the... Do they do the slow, or is it just damage now? If it's just damage, then that's actually a big nerf to Templar Assassin in the early mid-game before she gets Blink. Sonic Trap damage can be increased. Meld armor reduction or refraction dispels. Refraction dispelling is pretty damn strong. Anything that dispels can be strong. Fraction especially there, though. And then Psyblade still paralyzes. Slow effects target MS by 100% for... Wow, okay. Refraction is nice there, but Psyblade's for when you're snowballing. Probably wouldn't need it, though, because if you're snowballing, you're probably 2-hitting people, so you don't need the slows, so you probably instead take Refraction. So many probabilities given there. Plus 300 Metamorphosis attack range. Yep, why not? Because balance, boys. Don't even have to be anywhere in the proximity of that bloody tower. Ravage AoE increased from 1025 to 1250 on the Tidehunter. These kind of buffs you expect to see, though. Ravage speed has been reduced slightly. But yeah, I kind of expect to see some buffs. I'm surprised the XP gain is at level 15 and not 10. I think it should be at 10. And the Anchor Smash should be a choice between that and the Gush. Right, then we got level 20. You can get Kraken Shell plus 24, Gush Arm minus 4. And then 25 is the cooldown reduction or plus 250 damage. Oh, looks like Ty got the techies treatment. Yeah, baby, yeah. Oh dear. Timbersaw. Timbersaw. Reactive armor stacks plus 5 at level 15 is not too bad, or 100 damage. You wouldn't really take the 100 damage though, because you're gonna have your chakra mount most of the time. And oh, sorry, Whirling Death, no chakram. Yes. And then Whirling Death still at 8%. I think that's actually, was it 6% before? I think it's 8% is a buff. That's actually an insane buff. I've said before, Whirling Death is a really strong spell. The increase is insane. 1400 Timber Chain shouldn't be needed. If you need a 1400 extra range on your Timber Chain, you need to stop killing every tree within 1,000 yards of you. Rearm now affects items in the backpack. Surprised that didn't happen sooner. Travel speed for missiles from Tinker have been reduced from 900 to 700, and mana cost reduced. Okay. Anything insane here that I want to know about? 8 March the Machine's damage is a bit annoying. You get spell lifesteal now, and 0.3 seconds heat-seeking missile mini-stun is a bit irritating. The big one is, of course, that plus 100 laser damage. Remember how strong it's going to be in a team fight, because you're going to Illuminati them with nags. How many we got left? We're almost there, guys. We're almost there. You know what? I'm surprised I didn't run off to get a drink at this rate, because we'll see it through. It did take a lot longer than expected. Tiny, hero reworked. Base HP regen increased by 1. Attack point reduced from 0.49 to 0.4. Just making him more effective. The attack factor in the early game. Avalanche damage rescaled is actually been increased. Agility from 9 plus 0.9 to 0 plus 0. Lol. Tiny base armor increased from -1 to 0. Removed Scepter. Removed Craggy Exterior. Added a new ability, Tree Grab. Targets a tree to use in attacks for 2, 3, 4, 5 hits. He's the tango user of the entire game. It extends attack range to 350 range. Each hit deals 25% more base damage to units and 75% more damage to buildings. Oh god, splashes 70% damage along the attack bar target. So instead of cleaveness between the way attack and himself. Affects buildings. Cooldown starts after burst attacks are used. Cooldown is 40, 32, 24, 16. That's balanced. Interesting change, though. Very interesting change. What's the new... Have they not given him new agnums? I don't think they have. Which is weird. Weird to take an agnums completely away. Reworked Grow. Grants you 20, 30, 40% status resistance. Increases base damage by 40, 80, 120. Movement by 40, 50, 60. And reduces attack speed by 30, as expected. Tree Grab gives you a secondary ability when you grab a tree. It lets you throw your tree. Resulting in a charge being emptied at a targeted unit. Rocking your attack on it and splashing 70% damage into a 250 area. So basically, think of it like this, guys. Tiny, well known as a hero who can easily just melt someone as soon as he gets a blink because he has the avalanche toss. Now he has the means to finish them off if they manage to survive that. Because even if you, like, say you're a Quap and you somehow have enough health in the mid game to survive that combo, you blink away. I hope you like the taste of tree up your ass, because there will be one flying straight at you after. And he can get free toss charges at 25. My team didn't build blink daggers, but we need initiation. Dude, Tiny's just literally turned into the airborne, US airborne units captain when they're flying over Normandy. He's like, go, 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 just tossing them into combat. Go, come on, fight. Oh my god. Toss requires no target. Toss requires no target. Oh my god, support Tiny's gonna be the best thing ever late game. I must save my team. Leave, people, leave. What about you, Tiny? 4-staff me. We can't. They had 3 seconds to the cooldown. No, and dead. You off to sleep, are you, Zodiac? Alright, buddy. Night purge pigeon. Was I that boring? Was I really that boring? I don't know. I don't think I was. Alright, trim. Let's see. Cooldown reduction or XP gain. Pretty fair choice. Then you get 90 damage or 3-second tree respawn time. Means trees always respawn in 3 seconds. Always! The combo plays, please. The combo plays that you could do here with like the fact that, well, for a start, Timbersaw would always have something to get pure damage off of. And for another thing, actually, here's a thought. What if you just, I don't know, what if you just shoved someone in the trees and then they regrew 3 seconds later? They'd be stuck, right? Zodiac says the smooth voice of Purge lulls me to sleep. Oh, wow. So you're saying I don't even have that effect? Wow. You know, I got to contact Purge. I'm like, dude, I've done this entire analysis. I got called Purge Pigeon. We should do a cast together. But me, I'm not going to do any hype, okay? We're both going to do, I'm going to sound like this. We're going to be really relaxed and we're not going to talk too much. And we're going to just keep it chill. We're going to sound somewhat like Owen Wilson. Wow. Right, anyway, moving on. What else is there? Oh, 350 eyes and overgrowth AoE. That's pretty handy. God. Just, oh god. Alright, Troll Warlord. Whirling Axe's ability icons are always visible on the UI. Okay. Whirling Axe's cooldown reduced. Ranged, slow reduced. Slow amount increased. Cooldown for Axe's melee is reduced from 12 to 9. And yeah, it's actually decent buffs to Troll Warlord. He just needs to be able to spam. Need to make sure he has enough magic to just keep on throwing out the spells. Enough mana. Okay, Whirling... We've got Whirling Axe damage, yours further stacks. Probably going to be further stacks for the early Roche. Well, not early Roche, you're level 15, but you get my point. And then you get evasion or damage. Probably going to get damage there because Troll benefits so much from any damage. And then Battle Trance dispels affects allies as well. That's actually, like, support Troll, level 25, guys. Seriously, though, that could be really handy. If someone jumps in, like, if you're not the primary threat to them at that time, they say they've got, like, a Beastmaster. Just dispelling Primal Roar is going to be huge. Alright, Tosk. Tosk can get 100% full response crit. Or snowball speed. Both of them are really good. 12% chance to Walrus Punch every time you attack. Oh my god. Tusk carry. Tusk can be a real carry now. We build attack speed as well as damage. Yes! Especially considering at level 10 you get a 40% XP gain. This is actually going to be huge for Tusk. He can accelerate so far ahead of people now. And now for Underlord. A moment of silence for your ass. Plus 18 Firestorm damage. Not bad at level 10. Level 15 plus cast range or plus 15 atrophy attack bonus damage. I'll take the atrophy. Level 20. Would you like HP regen or attack speed? Either one's good. That's a balanced choice at least. And then level 25. Firestorm building damage. Oh my god. It's like Shrapnel. Oh my. It's like Sniper became a World of Warcraft player for 5 years and came out of his basement fat as fuck. With the ability to use magic because he played an Archmage for 4 years in the latest expansion of Cataclysm. Oh, God. Undying. Tombstone duration rescaled from 15, 20, 25, 30 to 30. Good. Tombstone AoE rescaled to 1200. Balance buffs all across, basically. Tombstone spawn rate rescaled for 3 to basically 4.5, 4, 3.53. Tombstone cooldown rescale from 70 to 85. Okay, so they've updated Tombstone cooldown. I'm not surprised. They buffed it everywhere else, really. Reduced Tombstone zombie collision size. Decay mana cost rescale from 70, 90, 110, 130. So now it actually costs less when you actually put more points in Decay. So Decay leveling is more viable in the early game, which has been needed because primarily it's all about Soul Rip. Decay damage has been slightly decreased as a result, though. Now you can get cast range of health regen, Tombstone on death, or 20 decay duration. I actually quite like the Tombstone on death. 15. Just put a Tombstone one side and then die on the other side. Like, now you're trapped in my eternal graveyard. Plus 30 Tombstone zombie damage, or plus 3 Tombstone attacks. Offensive or offensive. Gains reincarnation 200 cooldown. Finally, level 25 has a hard choice to make. Do you want more decays, or do you want to come back like Wraith King? I like that. Kind of Undying actually has some relevance later on in the game. Especially if he builds an Ags. Alright, Ursa. Mana regen at level 10. Actually giving a little bit of a choice there. Agility or Earthshock cooldown. Once again, choice. Fury Swipes or Enrage, both good there. Fury Swipes damage or AoE shock plus 600. Oh my god, the range of his slam. It's like slapping his balls on the ground so hard he actually creates a meteor hole. Anti-Mage says, hey guys, used to be gold free in LoL. My estimated MR in Dota 2 is 1500. Still low 15 in about a month of playing. Is it any good? 1500 MMR. How to put this? Pro players are at 9k MMR. I am at 4k MMR. 4k is above the average. I think the average is about 3k. Oh, my eye. Sorry about that. Besides, Anti-Mage, it won't matter too much at this rate because, of course, the new patch was coming in a few days and they'll be introducing a new rank system that is similar to League of Legends and Overwatch's. Okay, yeah. You asked me if it's any good, Anti-Mage. I'm giving you the averages. You can pat yourself on the back if you want. I mean, you know, you're on a 20 win streak. That's quite surprising. Looking spiffy day. Hey, thanks, Prilly. How you doing? Alright. Vengeful Spirit. Wave of Terror Vision AoE reduced from 500 to 300. That's understandable. Venge is really just a good all-around pick. Surprised she hasn't been getting picked more as it is. But then again, I think I'm going to keep reading change to see if they made it better because they haven't really changed badly the supports you would pick first. Like the Spirit. The Shaman and the Clockwork and the Lion. Okay, Wave of Terror cooldown reduced. Okay, that's good actually. It's gone down to 10 seconds. That's a huge buff. Duration has been reduced from 15 to 8 seconds. That's 80% uptime. That's huge. Scepter illusion damage increased from 50 to 100%. Yeah, it was needed. Vengeance Aura AoE increased from 900 to 1200. Really handy. And Vengeance Aura no longer applied to enemies when you die. That's a bit of a shame, but understandable. It was a bit ridiculous. Whenever an allied hero dies under your damage aura, an illusion of that hero will be created and attacking the enemy that killed him for 7 seconds. Illusions deal 100% damage. Yes. Yes. Oh my god. She's the master of the spookening. Imagine the interactions between a Terrorblade, a Vengeful Spirit, and a goddamn Wraith King as people just die but don't die. And oh my god, that's going to be amazing. So theoretically, let me just try if I can get this right. If you have a Wraith King Ags, do you get the spirit that attacks for 7 seconds when they go into Ags form? Or is it when they die at the end of Ags? Because if it's when they die at the end of Ags form, they just all run over to Venge, and suddenly you've got another team for 7 seconds just to finish off what's left in your base. Oh my god. Pick Tiny and I'll pick Morph. We'll juggle them forever and beat him down. Oh my god. We've got to do that. We've got to do that. Yeah, Penguin's saying about how with Tiny you could have a Morph on your team that can morph to look like you, and you could just toss back and forth between you. I don't think you would be able to indefinitely because while you get free stacks and charges on the Tiny, you don't get the talent effects on Morph, I don't think. And nothing else really major with these talents for Venge. Veno, base movement speed reduced by 5, no surprise. Base damage is down as well, he deserves it. Venomous Gale can now be dispelled. Yes! Yes! Take that in your stupid venomous face, Veno. Oh, that's been coming for so long. I'm so happy. I am actually so happy about that. Gale Hero Impact summons 2 wards. Oh no, still A's because they've still got this. The ward HP damage. They have give plus 600 Poison Nova AoE as an alternative, which is insane. Wow. Oh, Viper's been reworked. Alright, AIDS Boy has been having a rework. Foxwood's just paying full attention now because this is why he's like, I've been waiting for this one. I've been waiting for so long. Now show me. Alright, base movement reduced. Armor has been reduced. Corrosive Skin no longer slows movement speed. That's fair. Corrosive Skin damage increased from 10, 15, 20, 25 to 8, 16, 24, 32, so it's less effective in the early levels. Corrosive Skin attack, slow, rescaled. It's weaker in the early levels, but stronger in the later levels. I think this is just awkward because it means people are going to be a lot less likely to level Corrosive Skin in the early levels. His whole point should be that magic heroes are less effective against him. You just need to find a way to work around that physical heroes are more effective. That's the catch, but I think they've gone wrong with this. Reworked Poison Attack. So it's a target and deals damage based on how much health the target's missing. Wow, so they've basically clumped the two together. Because Nevertoxin basically done the health missing, calculate extra damage one. Now they've reworked Nevertoxin. So the oh wait, no, sorry, rework poison attack. It's not an orb anymore. It has a cooldown. It actually has a cooldown, lasts 3 seconds. But once you put 3 points in it, you can keep it up indefinitely. Mana cost will still be hefty though. Nevertox has been reworked though. Releases poison onto the target area, deals damage over time, reduces magic resistance, and applies break. Wow. Wow. Okay, boys. You wanted your Phantom Assassin counter? I have given him to you on a platter. That's actually huge. Applying break that early in the game. What's the cooldown? 5-second cooldown for 8 duration. 75 mana cost. That is insanely powerful. And it does at level 1 it does 20 DPS. So if you think about that, it's 160 damage. And you can apply it every 5 seconds. And the magic resistance goes down. I'm just gonna be the one to say it. Between that and the reworked poison attack, you could technically look to do Roaming Viper. Theoretically, it could work. You don't have a stun, it's only going to be catch, and people prefer like roamers and supports with stuns, so it wouldn't be that effective. But if you go with someone that can actually maybe has a stun and a slow, then between you can easily kill people. And of course, Arcane Boots is a decent choice now on Viper. Interesting. And Never Toxin can be made to silence at level 25, which is like, how big is that AoE? 300. Actually, maybe, no, that's not too bad then. I think the problem was, in my mind, I first envisioned Alchemist's Poison, that AoE, which I think is 450. So 300 is a bit more balanced. But Never Toxin still silencing is huge. Okay, Visage Familiar's attack is now constant 20, 40, 55 rather than damage charges. Interesting change. Casting Grave Chill now gives the buff to familiars within. Wow, okay, that's a big buff. You'd think it isn't because it decreased damage technically, but that's a big buff because now you're doing constant damage and you're giving the Grave Chill buff, which you have to remember, guys. Grave Chill buff takes away movement speed and attack speed from your opponent, and now it's going to give it to you and your birds. Sorry, no, it's going to give it to the birds. No, it must be given to you as well. Because otherwise, what was Grave Chill do before you get your birds? Nothing. Soul Assumption can double strike at level 15. That's huge. And Soul Assumption damage per charge increased by 15. I'd rather have the familiars move 80 speed quicker. Then -2 seconds on Gravekeeper's Cloak or +1 familiar. Obviously +1 familiar. That means you get a total of 4 familiars. It's insane. Warlock, level 10 Fatal Bonds damage +5% is actually really strong. But so is the cast range. That's a tough choice. Then what else we got? Someone get Death Golem, of course. Yeah, and yeah, just the typical stuff that you expect, really. Although 250 Shadow Word AoE is a tempting choice instead of the Summon a Golem on Death. Alright, now we even get Mana Break at level 10. That's actually a huge difference. And +2 Swarm attacks to kill. Wait, what? Oh, the Swarms, yeah, they take extra attacks. And level 25, you can get an extra Geminate attack. That's much better. I prefer that to Shikuchi movement speed. An extra Geminate attack. 3 attacks. Against the squishy support, that's a dead support. Even if they stun you afterwards, they're dead. Let's see. Focus Fire now allows Wind Range to move while attacking the Focus Fire target. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Wow, wow, wow. 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 Oh my god, I've got to see that one. I've really got to see that one. Oh, so there's a practice thing, isn't there? There's a Tri-Hero thing. I need to see this. Actually, can't believe there's a thing. Basically, guys, think Gyrocopter with Aghanims. That's what's going to happen now with Wind Ranger to our target. You won't be able to escape a Wind Ranger. You won't even need to hit Shackle Shot. Attack speed bonus has been reduced from 5 to 350. That's still a lot. Cooldown increased from 60 to 70. Shackle Shot now shows an indicator for the missed area if it fails to latch onto a target. Okay. 20% wind run slow at level 10, pretty handy, or plus 1.75 mana a second, which is really good actually. Plus 90 power shot or attack range, probably go attack range there, and then wind run grants invis. To be honest, you can actually cool down or invis. Invis would be pretty good because you got to remember that you're going to go invisible with focus fire on. You're still going to be attacking, so you won't be revealed while being invis. Which is damn good. Then you get plus 20% mini stun focus fire, which is going to be absolutely insane. Or you can shackle shot target someone extra. Whew. Why even anything big here? The last 2 seconds stun is actually quite big, but that's level 25, of course. The Arctic Burn slow plus 15% at level 20 is pretty handy, but if it was burn HP, it'd be better. Well, it wouldn't be 15%, but if it was maybe an extra 3%, 4%. Witch Doctor. Death Ward now attacks the enemy hero nearest to the ward on creation, which you think it would have done in the first place, but it didn't. Cast bounce now +2 at level 15. Always, honestly, never underestimate how much you get screwed over by an extra 2 casks. An extra Maledict tick is actually pretty strong as well. Voodoo Restoration doing max HP now is actually incredibly strong. Oh, Wraith King's been reworked. Let's all look shocked and surprised. Okay, so reworked Mortal Strike. Mortal Strike Hero Chance rescaled from 15% to 9, 11, 13, 15%, same as Creep Chance. Mortal Strike Hero Crit rescaled from 150, 250, and 300 to 300%. So you can actually just crit really hard to begin with. So you can just put like 1 value point in there straight away, and it's not too bad. I mean, it's 9% chance, but still 300%. When you're harassing out an opponent, it's better than just trying to heavily invest. You might want to stick it in the stuns instead. Reworked Mortal Strike versus Creeps grants 9, 11, 13, 15% chance to kill a non-player, non-ancient unit in 1 hit and gains a charge counter. What? What do these charge counters do? You can cast Mortal Strike to summon skeletons equal to the number of charges you have. Oh, wow. Skeletons are not bound to you and will auto-attack targets they find. Wow, they've basically just been playing Heroes of Storm and creating Leoric from Heroes of Storm now, aren't they? That's really interesting, though. That split push Wraith King is a thing, guys. Jesus. Activation requires 75 mana and has a 50-second cooldown. Skeletons have 35 to 40 damage, 1.2 attack rate. That's good. Grants 15 gold XP as well, for what it can actually put into a lane. Do they actually? I'm wondering, because they're not bound to you and they will attack. If they kill something, do you get the gold? Skeletons are summoned once per 0.25 seconds versus immediate. No, if you have Vampiric, you lifesteal if you attack dealt enough damage to kill the creep. Oh, there you go. So you can basically potentially jungle. I'm not gonna say it too loud. No one likes to hear that, but you know. Casting Hellfire Blast on a target will order all skeletons to attack that target. Oh nice, so you do actually have some control. I like it. +5 max skeletons. Gonna be interesting. They put the no reincarnation mana cost at level 20 or get skeleton damage. You now actually have a choice here instead of it just always feeling like you have to go for the reincarnation mana. So now at level 25 you can choose extra vampiric aura or reincarnation cast. In cast the Wraithfire. I think this is a big buff to Wraith King. It's fundamentally changed the way it works and making it more flexible. Now it's just not all about Radiant's Blade Mail, which is what it feels like it is 9 times out of 10, or go in the jungle and get a Midas spam ahead. And finally, Zeus. Nothing. Oh, 25% XP gain at level 10 is actually pretty big. Especially just spam through these levels. The +170 arc lightning damage, which gets to level 25, is pretty handy. And extra stun time on the lightning bolt is going to be really useful. But then again, 15% cooldown reduction, like to be taken instead. Alright, other than that, I don't think there's much else. It's just talking about ability draft and some bug fixes. We did it, guys. We got through the patch notes. That was a long patch notes check out. I think that, yep, 3.5 hours. 3.5 hours we were at that. Good lord. Alright, I really want to see this. So this was, yeah, this is constant. If I just have, I level up. Okay, let's see, wind run slow. We do. Attack range, ground invisibility, mini stun. Okay, spawn me some heroes. Let's get some enemies.
I gust onward.
Okay, so if I do this,
Here goes.
that's actually pretty useful. Not gonna lie.
Gets there first.
What does Ags do? Does Ags? Yep, Ags works the same as it did.
I'm way ahead.
Where's refresh cooldowns?
Incoming.
15-second cooldown. That is actually insanely powerful. So we go like this, and then we
Already
go
busy.
ahead. And,
My feet fly.
oh, does it stop? So you can't actually do it at the same time. Okay, so I was actually kind of expecting a lot of that dirty combo. Kind of glad it didn't at the same time. Okay, we get some enemies.
You've got
Guys,
my
get out of my way.
Get
Get out of my goddamn way! Alright, so if we shackle shot. Oh wait, did I take the shackle? No, I didn't. Oh, okay. Can I reset myself? Should be a reset option. Should be. Not seeing an option. No. Wait, 3 spells, boys. Also, I should point out the other amazing thing you can do with this, which is this.
The arrow fly.
Is the just taking your time, don't mind me. Coming by. Yeah, that's actually going to be amazing. Wind Ranger needed a sort of a rework, so I'm kind of glad she got that.
Enemy's middle tower has fallen.
Alright. Well. What I'm going to say is on the new purge. I think I've done it for him as well. Yeah, beat him to it. Beat him to the punch.
Woman of the wood.
I feel like I've rushed the second half of the hero list. I could have talked a lot more. I think I was more like a very not in-depth. Wow. Next time it'll be a 5 hour. And I'll torture myself. Right. Yeah, about what? So, do we want to have a look at the new heroes? That's probably a good idea. Let's start with Pangolier. Pangolier is the more intriguing one. I think more intriguing one to about everyone fits, right? Let's have a look at Pangolier.
You've never met an Yvonne Gallant?
Okay.
Well, you won't soon forget
We
this
level up a
encounter.
bit. Actually, just max out. Okay, what do we get? So we can get mana regen on movement speed. For the purpose of this, we take movement, but usually take mana. Attack speed or shield crash, cooldown, and ball. Kind of useful, actually. 2 seconds. Holy crap. Swashbuckle attack. Oh, Swashbuckle. Where is it? Oh, yeah, that one. Try that. And then Rolling Thunder, cooldown. 12 seconds less, or Swashbuckle cooldown.
Rest assured.
Probably Swashbuckle, so you can go. Okay, the cast range on that is insane.
I know.
That's actually huge.
So you got away?
Bouncing through, don't mind me. Oh no! Run!
I meant
But blink onto a cliff and use your ult.
something good.
Why would I
this
blink
time.
onto a cliff? I can just go onto a cliff. God. Apparently I need to blink onto a cliff, guys. What is this going to do?
Where can't I be?
Wait, what? Why is G not working? G is... Oh my god, my binds have been fucked up on this.
Sure.
Alrighty then. Why not?
Sometimes I got you. Whee! Let's get to the point.
Wait, can I do damage to towers like that? No. I think it's physical, isn't it? I kind of like it's something actually quite enjoyable about his attack animation, not gonna lie.
Is that so?
I'm upset I don't do damage to towers for that. You know what the sad part is? I want to go test this hero, and you can guarantee we're going to get into a lobby, and someone else is going to pick it. We need a mode where everyone can just pick the same hero. Everyone's
Now
played
the
Pangolier
adventure
today.
truly begins.
Alright, let's quickly check out Dark Willow and see if it's as insane as I imagine. Okay, we're going to do the Dagon test, because that's the most important one in my mind. For those that weren't here when I was saying this, you have an ability which increases the damage due. See Shadow Realm, max damage increase.
Prepare for battle.
So theoretically, with this ability, if we were to, oh wow, we can increase it even more. Wait, you get plus 200 attack speed. Seems reasonable. So anyway, if we were to have an enemy, just max him out. Now, if I just zap him, let's have 2. You can be leveled up to. Oh, don't attack him. No. I'm bullied.
This place is boring.
Right, so he's at 1800. If we zap him, and we do what you expect, we do the about 600 damage. Now, if we run this,
For a surprise.
didn't increase. Didn't actually increase. Okay, so it doesn't actually include items. Oh, her next attack has increased range and deals bonus magic damage. Okay. On the patch notes, it explained it differently. So if I shot now,
Let's get moving.
well, it's not bad.
I have you right where
Oh,
I
this
want
is a
you.
stun, isn't it?
To go. Chicks, what do you say we go introduce ourselves?
Let me
Not
record
so
top
fast.
in these wonderful things.
I'm
I
always
think you have
on
to
the
walk
move.
around, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, no, you can walk over them.
Come on, Jackson.
Doesn't really seem to be doing the desired effect to them.
I'm just getting started.
Oh, I see. They walk into them,
stay
they
in one
pop.
place too
They can
long.
actually still walk around them. I'm not sure that's that great of an ability then.
No one stands in my way.
And then, of course, we do have Bedlam, which if we...
You shouldn't have made my friend angry.
it spins around me. Basically, imagine Io's Wisps, but much better. Run back to your
Terror,
fountain.
Jax.
Be gone.
This isn't going to end well for you.
There's a bit of a delay before those appear. Kind of expect.
Field trip, Jax.
Right. Anyway. I am a bit guilty of something here. I said I was going to play Destiny 2, but I just realised the time is 12:30, so it probably wouldn't be worth doing. But I will play Destiny 2 tomorrow. I'll do a long stream of it for those that... I think Jughead especially is going to be upset that there's not going to be Destiny 2, but in reality it's 12:30. I'm probably going to stream for maybe another hour and a half. I don't think it'd be worth hopping on Destiny 2 for that. Alright, first things first, let's actually go for some spins. But first of all, I'm going to have to change... These are all correct. Enable quick cast. Where are the options? There's an option we need to get rid of. Not an option, hotkeys. Something set to G. Yeah, that shouldn't be. That should be on slash. So G, B, space, B. I don't think I had that on D. And then mouse. There we go. Alright, be right back 1 sec, guys. I'm going to get a drink before we continue. Alright, be right back 1 sec, guys. Alright, I am back. Oh, Sid arrived. Sid, you missed the entire goddamn analysis. I'm going to have to upload it onto YouTube because you know.